Salvete omnes, salvete amici, nomen mihi est decumus Aurelius Ingeniarius, legatus pro praetore Australiae et tribunus plebis. Hello everybody, welcome to the Roman Twitch channel here on Twitch, brought to you by Nova Roma. I am Decumus Aurelius, broadcasting live from the east coast of Australia. It's about 7:30 p.m. here, or about 11:30 a.m. Rome time. Noting we will eventually have a daylight savings time switch, so be sure to keep an eye on the calendar for any change of times going forwards. Well, here we are. We are now in session 6, or episode 6 of our Republic of Rome board game broadcast for 2021, and we are doing really well. I am very happy with the performance of our senators out back, waiting for me and waiting for us all to start this game. They have done amazingly well. They had a bit of a rocky start with a couple of wars there. They got through those, and with the recent victory against the First Punic War, that really put them on a good footing. And it was very fascinating as a third-party observer and as the facilitator here to watch the change in dynamics. They were a very cohesive working group, working together, supporting each other to make sure that they did all the right things and had the correct popularity on the highest ranking available officers. And now, as soon as that First Punic War is over and they've got a bit of breathing room, immediately all the intrigue has started again. All the political back chatter in the background and they've all stopped talking to each other in the Senate. So they're all colluding again by the looks of things. Now, I'm not privy to any of their collusions. There's perhaps lots of planning going in on the background. Certainly, I'd like to have a few conversations with the Senators post-game to see how the control of the Senate was affected. So we're going to start to see, I think, from this point on, a lot more intrigue, a lot more backstabbing, perhaps a lot more deals, both public and private. It's going to be starting to be a really fantastic session. Hey, Unknown Star 120 coming in with a tier 1 sub, now subscribed for 2 months. That's fantastic. Yes, it is indeed fun times. Thank you very much for that tier 1 and the support there. Much appreciated. Gratias Tibiago. Well, let's not delay any further. Let's get into session 6 of our game here. We're just going to take a moment to transition our screens, and I'll transition my camera. Please don't go away. We're only going to be about 30 seconds or so, and then we'll be back live on the Roll20 virtual tabletop to get session 6 underway. Stand by. Okay, we are back. We are live. I can see a whole bunch of senators' smiling faces down the bottom of my screen here. Let's do our usual audio check. If I could have all my senators give us a nice big salve, salvete.
Salvete.
Yeah, we're looking good there. Brilliant. Great to have you all back here for session 6. You guys are doing really well. As I said in my introduction, we are now looking at the Roll20 virtual tabletop. And as always, we've finished our last session just at the end of the consular elections, where I believe we had Flaminius and we had Julius elected as our new consuls. Now, as the usual tradition dictates, we'll have the Field Consul come in, say a few words, and introduce the Rome Consul as the new presiding magistrate and highest ranking available officer. And then they'll get right into their Senate session from there, and perform and do their business. Lots on the plate. Everything from medal awards, Pontifex Maximus, provinces, maybe some land bills. We'll see what's happening. That unrest level is looking a little bit high, and definitely some chatter about the state treasury and the forces, and of course the wars going on as well. So at this point in time, we'll hand over to the consuls and let them get underway.
All right. So I am Flaminius, speaking from the House of Incognita. I am taking up the role of Field Consul. I will be working very hard to support Julius, who is our Roman Consul, to help Rome succeed fluently.
All right.
Thank you very much for that introduction. From the erudite faction, speaking as Julius, whom is a well-decorated Roman consul and will provide us with the leadership necessary to lead us forward into this new phase, which, as we know, will always have its many wars and things that we will need to manage. And I look forward to Julius's session. Thank you for your support.
All right. Looking good. Well, as always, let's do a little bit of administration and let's get our new consuls, their plaques, their purple tokens, and of course, their very juicy influence, which we all like to get. So we'll let Quintus Octavius do his for his Field Consul. and maybe pre-Byzantium and Numerus Aurelius. If you'd like to up the influence for Julius, please, to assist Marcoedia, that would be fantastic. So she doesn't have to travel too far for the grey number tokens. That would be most helpful if you could. So what's Julius? Julius is currently on 17, is going to get +5 for the Rome Consul there. So Marcoedia, if you look down just a little bit next to Alias, you can actually see the Rome Consul purple token. And of course, you've currently the censor, but that's okay. Likely to see the censor is going to go elsewhere. So if you like, you could perhaps pop the censor token back into the sand pit for consideration, which will be coming up very shortly.
Yep.
Perfect.
I'm pretty sure that's the first thing on the menu.
Very close. I would argue that the Pontifex Maximus is probably next.
Okay.
So, right.
All right, we can see the influence updated for Julius, and let's look at the Field Consul. You've got your influence updated. We've got 8 influence on Flaminius the Younger now. Very good, and I can see some people updating the faction influence as well. Good. Marvellous.
So I'm going to call for nominations for the Pontifex Maximus.
I'd like to make a nomination if that pleases the chair.
Yep, and whom would you like to put forward?
I'd like to put forward Junius from the pre-Byzantium.
I'll
How do I always mispronounce
from
it? What's
my
the
faction, the Justice Marita faction, Veritas.
Mm-hmm.
I just would like to say I'm not sure if my faction should take it. Bad luck's before both.
Well, I recall with
as a faction who has led and maintained the state treasury for the last number of years and have kept Rome afloat, I would be very much willing to take on the burden of maintaining the churches and the Pontifex Maximus's finances in case of future evil omens. We'll be ready to stand as a bulwark against any evil forces.
We'll share from them.
Yes.
Now, assuming that the pre-Byzantium faction wants the role,
Yep.
Number
then
3.
I would just like to point out the strong record of that faction in delivering on its promises and of delivering Jupiter.
Manages
when he was
the
most
harbour
needed.
fees.
Hang on a minute. It just sounds like we've got some audio issues. Sounds like you guys can't hear Tiberius Cornelius, who's been speaking.
I can hear him.
No, I can't.
I can hear him.
Yeah, it sounds like...
I cannot hear him.
You know?
Right, sounds like Marcus Decimus hasn't been able to hear Tiberius Cornelius. Perhaps if I could have Marcus Decimus rejoin on the... on our OBS Ninja, just to see if that solves the issue. And if that doesn't, then we'll have Tiberius Cornelius rejoin. Because some of you can hear him and some of you can't. So
sorry for any interruptions. I'll be right back.
Good, okay.
Now that he's gone, let's make a public deal. for my faction.
Let's vote for...
Yes, we'll do the vote. He's away. He's not here. It's not our fault.
He's away from Rome.
Yeah.
All right, he's coming back online. All right, Tiberius Cornelius, if you could say a few words, and then in response, if Marcus Decimus, if you could say a few words in response, see if you guys can hear each other.
So I apologise, Marcus Decimus, that you couldn't hear me. My proposal was that Junius take the role, and it was really in recognition of the good service done in the role from the House, notwithstanding evil omens. But the House has delivered on. The faction has delivered on all its promises, and it was most successful at invoking Jupiter's mercies in the last couple of battles we've had, and also the commitment that's been made to use the revenues from the role to support the governorship, which is locking the front door really to Rome. So it's an important position, important thing that we keep. That financing of that role is maintained.
Yes. Yes, I hear you loud and clear, Tiberius, and of course I'll put forward my apologies if I interrupted you during your speaks on the floor.
Marcus Decimus, would you
Yep.
like to speak now?
Oh, yes.
Did you want to?
I'll continue with my proposal that Varius of my faction, number 3, who has managed the harbour fees at the Rome harbours for the last number of years, has also been a part of the faction who has helped maintain the highest office within Rome and has steered us through the current heartache that we've been seeing with the First Punic War. And he is willing and ready to manage the finance of the position, as well as stand as a bulwark against future evil omens, and will be prepared after seeing fellow senators who have held this role due to none of their own ill actions, but due to poor outside effects upon Rome, was not able to maintain the personal treasury of the position in case of such disaster.
Okay. So, given those very rousing speeches, we shall be going to vote. Do we have a scribe whom will be able to take the votes?
Yes, I think I retain that role. I don't recall actually, but I think that was the outcome.
Okay. So will we put forward one at a time? Is that how we will do it?
So for your interest there, Consul, you'll put one proposal of one candidate for Pontifex Maximus of your choosing, because ultimately, with you as the presiding magistrate, you get to call the ball game, as it were. You have the sway of being able to put forward the proposal of your choosing. So, I mean, of course, you've heard candidates put forward their case, but ultimately, I guess you're also going to be running a strategy here, and I guess it's in your interest to put through the particular proposal that you'd like to see occur, and even talk it up yourself if that's what you'd like to do. But right, ultimately, yeah, in this point, and depending on your strategy, you'll put forward one candidate, and ultimately we'll see what that proposal does as to whether you'll need to put a new one or not.
Just remember, guys, vetoes are allowed.
True, vetoes are allowed. You're not a dictator. That's right.
Yes, this is very true. I was just looking to the board game, to the two different houses. I just was looking at their influences as well too.
Smart.
Yeah, Marcus Decimus doesn't need any.
Yes, so I think Jacobus was... Sorry, it's hard for me to roll around the screen at the moment.
Yeah, it's real laggy.
Bit of tech support there.
Yeah. Yes.
Good.
So I felt.
Oh, they're getting squeezed.
I felt that in the interest of balancing the power in the Senate, that we would put forward from Cornelius Jacobus.
Okay.
That would be the first proposal that we'll put forward.
Okay, so and which
So
senator
that's
there?
Junius.
Pardon? With Junius, yeah.
Junius from the pre-Byzantium faction?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Third time lucky, right?
Yes.
That's all I can keep thinking, guys. That's just the curse on me.
So I'm going to call for votes. And so the first place I'm going to go for is for the Justia Marita faction.
Good.
I'm going to call for your votes.
I'll place my 10 votes against the action.
Yeah. So next we call on the House of Julii.
16 votes in favour.
After, we are going to call on Fortuna's Despair.
with no disrespect to Justicia Merita, 7 votes in favour.
Yep. Now I call on the House of Incognita.
9 votes in favour.
And now I've already called on the Pre-Byzantium, and I have
No, you haven't called on me yet. I don't think.
You die.
10. Erudite faction, 10 votes for.
Still got one to go there, Consul. It's actually pre-Byzantium.
Pre-Byzantium, yes. I call on Pre-Byzantium, please.
2 votes in favour. Guys, I might not have votes or influence, but I got God on my side. Got you.
You've got heart.
So
It's a game changer.
Heart and holiness.
that is 44 votes in favour and 10 against. So the motion is carried.
All right.
Yeah.
Our new Pontifex
Thank you
Maximus. You know what to do there, Numerius Aurelius. You'll find it's in the sandpit.
Thank you.
Both
Thank you,
both
guys.
the plaque and the purple token, and of course give Junius a pity 5 influence to go with that. And I guess you'll be wanting to cash up over the next turn or so, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So next we will be electing, is it the Master of Horse?
No.
not
So at this
able to.
stage, you guys do not meet the prerequisites for a dictator or master or horse.
No.
So in this point,
have
you'll go
that.
straight onto the censor elections.
Okay. So I would like to call for elections for whom would like to put forward a senator for election for censor.
I'd like to put forward a senator, if that's all right. I'd like to put forward Papyrus from Fortuna's Despair, whose august leadership.
So
been
before
so
you
important.
expend too much effort on there, just remember that a censor needs to have a prior consul marker, a green prior consul marker. So Furious, for example, could be
that's right.
Yep.
So, no, that's what I was actually thinking
Okay,
of.
sure.
I was looking at the major
Uh-huh.
instead. Furious as the
There you
prior
go, that's
consul,
better.
whose leadership steered us through such rocky seas.
Oh, I forgot to put my prior console marker on. Was I
Please do that.
Yeah, it was last term, wasn't it? I forgot what console picky is.
Yeah,
I'd like to
if you're an
put
ex-console,
forward,
make
Aurelius.
sure you got your prior console marker as an ex-console. Good.
Emilius would like to also put his hand forward.
Emilius has a prior console. Yes.
Yep.
And
Emilius.
some medals.
And
Does any-
Cato the Elder would also like to put his wise hand up for censor.
Yes. Cato the Elder has a prior console marker.
Yep. Down here. Yep. Is there anybody else who would like to put forward somebody?
I think that's all the candidates.
That's all the candidates?
No, besides the
There's
dictator.
one over in Justia Marita's faction.
Yeah, I thought there was an option there as well.
There is an option, of course, consul, but it would be up to you if you wish to place forward the senator for the position.
Okay. So I wanted to confirm the 3 people who've been put forward is we have Cato the Elder from the House of Julii. We also had, where are we? Up here, sorry. Aurelius, was it Aurelius?
Emilius, yeah.
Emilius from the House of Incognita. And we also had, where are we?
Furious, that's what it was.
Was it Furious? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
From-
Fortuna's Despair.
From Fortuna's Despair.
Furious, yeah.
Now, guys,
Just
you
in
remember what
favour of
happened last
Furious, I'd
time,
just
right?
like to I'd just like to make note to certain factions that despite what the disembodied narrator sometimes says, I have no intention of backstabbing anybody or creating any sort of intrigue. And certain quite influential senators are very safe from prosecution under my watch.
Just remember what happened last time I put a candidate forward.
You,
Means he would be back
Justice
for
was served.
revenge. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, I never said I was going to prosecute anyone. I just said, remember what happened. No one else got a chance.
Veto, veto, veto.
I think there's some prosecutions are in order, personally.
Okay, so would anybody else like to give any other words of wisdom for their candidates as they put forward?
Cato the Elder is also under the, after speaking with the rest of the senators in the House of Julii, that the focus on moving Rome into the next period of time would be beneficial for all and would not be looking at making prosecutions. So he would be wanting to help steer the ship as we move on into an exciting new phase, hopefully.
They're all very worthy candidates, and it is a very difficult decision. Okay, so where are we?
Insert suspenseful music.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. House of Julii in Flaminius.
I certainly do appreciate the amount of thought going into these proposals. That's very good to see.
Yep. Okay, so first of all, I am going to put forward a proposal for Emilius, and we will vote on that.
Aurelius of the House of Incognita. Ah, yes.
Yep.
ID number 19.
Right. Yep. So, Marcus Decimus, we will hear your votes first.
I'll vote 10 votes against.
Numerous Aurelius,
2 votes against.
Cornelius Jacobus,
I'll vote my paltry 7 votes against.
and we have the House of Julii.
16 votes against.
Okay, and we have then as well too, we have the House of Incognita.
9 votes for.
Okay, and for the erudite faction, I have 10 votes. I will abstain.
Right. Interesting result.
No.
So that's 9 votes for, 35 votes against, 10 votes abstaining. So the motion is not carried.
Okay.
Proposal fails. No other consequences other than that proposal cannot be said again this turn.
The perfect counter to the veto.
Man, yeah, that's it. You guys ain't let that go, eh?
They're never going to let me have censor again.
Okay.
The only time I'm going to get censor is when it's like the last round ever and it doesn't even matter.
It's good to finally see some proposals that get shot down. They don't happen too often. You're all been too agreeable.
Next, so the other one who was put up that we are going to put forward as the next proposal is Furious from Fortuna's Despair.
Inspired choice.
Okay, we'll hear votes from Cornelius first.
7 votes in favour.
Next is Numerous Aurelius.
2 votes in favour.
Marcus Decimus.
10 votes in favour.
What's
House
that?
of Julii.
I may as well abstain with 2 votes. I feel like a fool.
But if Numerous Aurelius is putting his 2 votes in, then
the moral weight, your moral weight is as equal with the rest.
Every vote counts.
the House of Julii votes 16 in favour.
And the House of Incognita.
9 abstain.
House of Erudite, 10 votes. I will also abstain.
So that is 35 in favour and 19 abstain. So we have a new Kensa.
Kensa is elected. There we go. The Kensa, you'll find your stuff in the sandpit as normal, and please be sure to add your influence.
Just talk me through what I need to do. Sorry, where's the...
Certainly. Yeah, so you'll see your plaque as well as the purple sensor token in the sandpit area in the middle. Please place those, well, at least the purple token on your sensor, the new Kensa elect. And then you'll need to increase the influence of Furious by 5. So it looks like he's already on 5, so you'll go to 10 now.
Right,
Grab yourself a 1 and a 0, that's right. Yeah, we want to make sure you get all that juicy influence correctly, and then while you're there, you might as well update your faction influence box as well to give that good running total.
All right.
I would like to say welcome to the new censor, and I am going to hand over proceedings temporarily to you.
Very temporarily, because consistent with my election manifesto, I shall be doing nothing.
Oh, there you go. Okay. That is very quick. But there's one more thing that the censor would like to say before we send the presiding magistrate chair back to the Rome Consul. And what would that be, Kensa?
There is.
It's a little administrative task. We always seem to forget every turn.
Remove your cropped markers.
Be free.
Oh.
All right.
So the
Pop your corruption markers back under there, and is that the major ones
correct,
as well?
Absolutely.
But don't applaud too loudly. Somebody else told me to.
Well done for remembering that, Kensa. Good job. So that was very quick. So yes, please, if you have corruption, you may now remove it. So obviously slide your concessions behind their senators a little bit more again. Remove your big red major markers and put those back. Of course, the only one that's going to keep theirs right now is going to be Fabius. Being a governor.
Enjoy the cleansing waters of Fortuna's
but mind you,
despair.
Fabius is only a minor corruption charge. But he can't be looked at until he returns to Rome. But everyone else can certainly clear their corruption. And that will then put the presiding magistrate chair back with the Erudite faction.
Yeah. So there's no governors to elect?
Yes, there is.
There is.
You'll see those in the sandpit, good consul.
Yep. There we go.
But I'm pleased you're reading the sheet.
We have two.
Two.
Sicilia and Sardinia.
So here's number 1. I'll bring that up for everybody. Sicilia or Sicily, for those in the modern tongue, created from the First Punic War. And of course, the other one there is Sardinia et Corsica, which is also created from the First Punic War. And you can see the maximum values of things they can have. So for example, the last one, Sardinia, can have a total of 3 fleets that can be built, but they can't build any provincial forces. While if you look at Sicilia, it can have a total of 5 fleets and 10 provincial legions there. Also take a note of the provincial spoils, state incomes, and local taxes, which are all relevant to you guys as well.
Okay. So can I ask people to put forward nominations for both of them, or do we do them individually?
So as an option for you, Consul, is... and you can,
point of order.
You go first. You can go first. Tiberius Cornelius?
I just wanted to know, when do the first and second slavery votes and the first... Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear. Yep.
Hello?
Yep. You can't hear me.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
So I was just wondering when the first and second slavery results and the first Sicilian pirates... what phase of the game?
That is a great question, and I'm not going to answer that. That and I'd only be guessing because I don't often get past the early Republic phase myself in games. I mean, I pretty much know when they are, but I'm not going to reveal to you guys. That is for you guys to discover. But you know, a good question all the same. But right, back for you, Consul. It's worth noting that You can wrap up these proposals either individually, so you could do one province at a time, and I think that's probably best, or you could wrap them up into a group proposal if you think that's more advantageous. For whatever reason, you could do both simultaneously. Of course, I'm more than happy for you to continue to call for candidates, but you yourself should also be considering who you'd like to see as a governor, whether there might be one that might be beneficial for even one of your own people to go, or even if there's some people you want to get out of Rome and to do a governorship role, that is also a potential strategy. And you, as the presiding magistrate, get to control what that proposal is. So certainly give that some of your own individual thought as well before you put your proposal forward. But, you know, your ship, you can...
Point of order, what happens to a senator with a concession?
Pardon?
So we're just asking, what happens to a senator that has a concession if they become a governor? What happens to the concession?
It stays on.
Correct. No change.
Fabius is away from Rome at the moment. He still has his concession.
Okay.
Yep. Still collects funds, so that's no problem.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So the House of Julia, I would like to put forward Terentius. He's a unassuming man in the Senate, but I think being sent out to govern a region would be, something that he would do very well. He would be planning on assisting Rome from there, and is no real threat to be doing anything extraordinary.
Okay. Can I hear from other nominations as well too? Perhaps Pre-Byzantium or the House of Incognito?
I don't have any one of my people that I would wish to send, but I think in terms of general strategy, that we should be looking towards someone with a high military rating, as we mentioned just before, that there was some potential piracy on the high seas. So I think that perhaps someone like Cornelius of the Justita Mauritia would be good. For military, or anyone else that's. We just have to be careful of the age as well.
Correct. Good work. Well done, Numerius Aurelius. Bonus points to you. Remembering the age. That's correct.
Yeah. So.
Lucky enough, lucky enough, Cornelius is young. Unfortunately, as the Senate would remember, his father perished actually fighting the First Punic War on the soils of Sicily, and he would certainly be someone who would wish to govern the land from which his family sowed blood for Rome to take.
Okay. What was the name of the senator you have put forward?
Cornelius.
Okay.
Number one.
Excellent. Number one. So we have two people that have been put forward. We have Cornelius, and we also have from the House of Julia. Pardon?
Terentius.
Number
20.
Number 20. Yeah, I'm just having a look.
So I'm going to interrupt for a second. Manlius would like to make an assassination attempt on Cato the Elder.
Holy Struth almighty. All right. So we're going to pause proceedings right there.
Yep.
Wow. Didn't think we'd see an assassination this early, but here you go. And as you know, as per the rules, this is pretty fascinating.
Aren't you meant to say die swine?
Oh, look, it can be certainly anything.
He's not a swine. He's
all it needs to be. That's right. All it needs to be is an identifiable point, and I guess that's identifiable enough. But if you'd like to go or do some other weird thing to note if there's an assassination occurring, then that's the way to go. So assassinations aren't particularly difficult. What I'm going to do is I'm going to update everybody's view here, and I'm going to show you the table, which is just down the bottom of your playing areas there. As you can see, it's pretty basic. It's really based on a 1d6 roll. However, both the attacker, the assassin in this case, and I guess the target have the ability to play cards should they so choose. So I guess we can certainly ask that question first. So Manlius, as the assassin here, would you wish to play any cards at this point?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough. And I guess for the opportunity to the defending faction, for Cato the Elder was the target, is that correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Does that custodian of that faction wish to play any cards at this point that are eligible to be played?
No.
Okay, not a problem.
Well,
Now,
when you say play cards, what sort of cards are eligible?
Bodyguard.
So there's a bodyguard
Right,
and there's
okay.
a one that also
Yeah,
allows
so-
you to put a further assassination attempt,
That's right.
which
So
allows
that-
you to change the roles.
Right,
yeah,
thank you.
there are cards out there that affect the outcome of assassinations attempts, both in the offense and defense.
Okay.
So there's what? There's like a bodyguard for defense and an assassin for attack.
Yeah, there's actually there's a few more. I think there's 3 different types of cards that influence the outcome of assassinations. Right, bodyguard cards. There's actually 2 different types of bodyguard cards. There's one called an open bodyguard and there's a private one. An open bodyguard, as the name suggests, needs to be in play before it's useful. In other words, you play the open bodyguard on a senator to protect them, and everybody can see you've got a bodyguard. And then the private one stays in your hand until you want to use it. So they're some of the cards that could potentially be played during an assassination attempt event. So from here, what I would like to do before we do any rolls is I'd actually like our assassin to read through the outcome. So let's assuming we can see there a roll of a 3 or 4 is going to be no effect. The other thing we need to take into account is the bad omen roll. So so that'll be a -1 roll that'll occur here. So what he'll really need is he really needs to roll a 5. Sorry, he needs to roll a 6, because if he rolls a 5, it'll become a 4 and there's no effect. If he rolls a 6, then he's good. The target will be killed. If he rolls a 3, then it becomes a 2, and he gets caught. So he doesn't want to roll a 3 or less on this roll, otherwise there'll be some consequences for him. So now, now obviously you guys can tell who the assassin is in this case, but if the assassin is successful, or if there's no effect on the target, then you guys can't do anything about it. And you could talk about a prosecution later if they become eligible for prosecution. But outside of that, there is no other changes to the game, and you go on with the Senate phase as if nothing happened. Now, if an assassin is caught, I'd like the assassin now to talk about those consequences before we go on. Are you right to read that little paragraph in the rulebook, please, assassin?
Let's see if I can remember where it is.
Mm-hmm. Or if somebody wants to give him the rule number, if somebody's already looking this up. Because this is it's worth noting the consequences of an assassination attempt, and he certainly was looking at this prior, which I was aware of. And this is the part of the reason why assassinations didn't happen all that often, particularly if you didn't have cards in play, because the consequences aren't overly desirable. But we'll have him read it out just to make sure it's both clear for him. I mean, he's committed now, and clear for everybody else here at the table as well.
I remember something about death or something.
Yep. There's death for someone. I'm going to help you out here in a minute. I'm going to do a control F on my PDF.
Often an outcome of assassination.
That's the one. What's the rule number for him? Did you find it?
A court assassin is killed. In addition, his faction leader loses 5 influence and is subject to an immediate special major prosecution with automatic dice roll and popular appeal table.
There you go. So not only is the court assassin killed, then his faction leader is immediately subject to a special major prosecution run by the Kensa, and where he must take a popular appeal. So all very fascinating there, isn't it? I
mean, there's a bit more I can go into.
Yeah. It's all right. We'll take the details one step at a time. So I guess at this point there's nothing left to do but to roll your 1d6, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
At 2 man here.
It gets a 4, which becomes a 3 because of the bad omen effect, which is no effect. So there's literally nothing happens, and you can go about your day. Everybody, well done. Nothing happened.
But everybody,
except the end of everybody.
Make sure you wear those heavy robes to the Senate.
Your Kevlar togas.
Just stuff a few things in there, guys.
Watch your back.
Cato the Elder just
felt a breeze.
These youngsters.
He ain't that young.
All right, back to the Rome Console, back to your Senate. Thank you for that short commercial break.
So hang on. So you can just have a shot at somebody's life. And
Provided
roll
you
the right
roll
numbers,
correctly,
yeah.
yeah, that's right. But the thing is, there's normally a 2/5 chance, sorry, a 2/6 chance, which is when you half that again, right, is 1/3 chance, right? But with the bad omen roll, it's even worse. So the fact that it was a 50-50 chance that he could utterly fail that and get killed off. The consequences of an assassination attempt are not light if you fail. So assassination attempts are going to be rare and are generally only used in extreme circumstances.
I'll read out part of it. So
yeah, okay, sure.
In addition to his own death, the faction leader, if found guilty, a number of morality chips equal to the victim's popularity are drawn, and any other members of the assassin's faction currently in Rome, whose mortality chips are drawn, also implicated and killed.
There you go. So that the whole faction becomes under duress if an assassin is caught. So that the consequences are not light.
And the HRAO becomes presiding magistrate for an assassination prosecution, even if he is the accused faction leader.
There you go. That's good to note as well. So now, look, assassinations certainly have their part, right? I mean, if you need to get rid of somebody and you've expired all other options, then a well-placed pugio or a dagger to the back is a great way to go. But you've got to be prepared to accept those consequences if you fail. And he was in that case. Thankfully, I guess for him, he hit the no effect, but, it wasn't his desired outcome either.
And now
but
I can't do another assassination attempt till next Senate phase.
There you go. So that's also a good rule to note. You can only do one per faction per turn. That is correct. Also well noted. Good job.
And so if Cato suddenly finds a sharp knife inside his toga, and he might want to reciprocate, the bad omens finishes this turn. Is that correct?
The bad omens will finish at the start of the forum phase.
Okay.
I wish you luck.
bit too risky for a sensible faction like the House of Julii.
Diplomacy, not violence.
So, back to the proceedings. We have 2 people only, I think, who have been put forward for governors. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is correct.
Do these 2 people have preferences to which governorship they would like to take?
Well, Terentius, being a colleague of Sulpicius, who is the son of somebody else involved in that very first war, would be more than happy to allow Cornelius to have his revenge.
Yeah. Cornelius would be more than happy and willing to take upon the main governorship of the Sicilian island, as is his main governorship.
Okay, excellent. So I'm going to put this forward to vote upon. And I will firstly call for votes from the House of Julii.
Scribe intervention. Can I just check what the proposition is?
So the proposition is, so from the House of Julii, sorry, if you could just help me out here, we have
Terentius to Sardinia.
Yep,
and Corsica.
Terentius to Sardinia. And to Sardinia, we have
Cornelius. Yes.
Cornelius to Sicilia.
Yeah.
That
Cornelius number 1.
Yes. So can I please hear for votes from the House of Julii, please?
16 votes for.
From Marcus Decimus.
10 votes for.
For Numerus Aurelius.
All of my votes in favour. I won't specify the number.
All of them, are you sure?
All of them. It's a big amount, I'm sure.
You can only give what you can give. For Cornelius Jacobus.
7 in favour.
And from the House of Incognita.
9 abstain.
Okay. 10 votes for the House of Erudite.
So that gives a total of 45 in favour and 9 abstaining. From abstaining from the game's pantomime villain in the corner there.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but who helped win the war?
We all did, didn't we?
Yeah. All those legions did.
All right. Who was my other governor that got elected besides Cornelius?
Terentius.
Terentius. Okay, Terentius 20. So I'm just starting to...
Unassuming egghead.
I'm just deploying our governors to the map now. So I'm taking the provincial cards up there, as well as the deployed versions of the senators. If the new governors can put the away from Rome placard over their senators in Rome, and then you'll need to adjust your vote tallies accordingly, as you are now affected. So Terentius 20, I've got to get his deployed version out there in the map. I'll bring up my...
He's got a steely look into his eye, old Terentius, doesn't he?
He does.
Let's have a Terentius 20, and any rocks the armor pretty well too. I like, which is good. Look at that, the map's starting to look pretty useful now. And some provinces, it's growing out there. It's looking really good. All right, so all of our governors are deployed. That's a good start. Good. The away from Rome is up there. Excellent. I'm just going to bring that to the front for you there, Terentius. There we go. Yes, and make sure you subtract the correct amount of faction votes from your total faction tallies now. So let's have, what would Cornelius had 4 votes to his name, and Terentius only had the 1 to his name. He had no knights. So so you'll need to adjust your vote tallies accordingly. And right, those governors are now out of Rome right now.
Wait for that Sardinian wine to start flowing.
Yeah.
Okay. So next on the agenda is land bills.
I'm thinking that you gain popularity with a land bill, correct?
Yes, you do.
So,
It costs money from the state treasury.
yeah,
I
but
thought
our
you could
unrest
put
is
toward
quite
personal
high.
money as well.
Would it be quite good to have the
I was going to
HRAO
put forward perhaps Platius to sponsor a land bill and to put forward some money towards it.
So the sponsors need to be willing. So I guess you can't appoint sponsors and co-sponsors, but bearing in mind, of course, they can come from your own faction. But you also
What's
need
the
to be
benefit
aware.
again of being the sponsor?
Sorry, what's the question?
What's the benefit of being the sponsor?
So you'll get popularity from being the sponsor of a land bill, and it's also worth noting that for every person that votes against a land bill loses popularity. All right, so because land bills, the people love land bills, right? So if you're voting against a land bill proposal, be prepared to lose popularity. If you're sponsoring it, so there's a sponsor and co-sponsor, you'll gain popularity. But just note that if the sponsor and co-sponsor are coming from the same faction, that faction is, I guess, how do we say this, more open to assassination attempts where there are no consequences. So, for example, unlike we just saw then with the assassination attempt,
I like where this is going.
if obviously, you particularly if you're copying, if you don't want to see a land bill right, often what we have seen is you'll seek to assassinate the beneficiaries, particularly if they're both from the same faction, right? You don't want the one faction gaining all the popularity. So we'll often see sometimes, particularly during the later Republic, an assassination attempt. Now, if the assassination fails, there's no consequences. It's almost as if there's no effect. So it's a special little bonus, if you will, only when both the sponsor and co-sponsor are from the same faction.
Wouldn't it be beneficial for Julius to gain some popularity for the end of year speech?
Yes, perhaps.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, if you...
Yep.
Okay.
It's also worth noting as well, because this used to be a point of confusion for me in the past, is depending on what land bill you implement, whether it's a 1, 2 or 3, you'll only pay it in the revenue phase when the debts are paid. So you don't pay it immediately, it's only paid in the revenue phase.
Oh,
Right.
okay. And how much do they cost again?
So
if we paid 5 a year, we could get -2 taken off straight away. But it's 5 a year for 5 years, isn't it? Or is it?
So I'm going to change everybody's view, stand by. I'm going to look at the land bill slot down here, which is under the little state revenue part here. So you can have a look. So
Yeah.
land bills. Yeah, so a tier 2 land bill costs 5 talents a year, and a tier 3 land bill costs 10 talents per year. Now, tier 1 land bill or a type 1 land bill, it's the most expensive, but there's no recurring a payment. So it'll remove 1 unrest level. You pay 20 talents and that's it. You don't have to keep paying. But unlike the other land bills, they'll stick around as a constant debt forever until you remove them. And guess what? If you vote to repeal a land bill, there's popularity consequences. But sometimes that's needed if you're hurting for cash. So these are all things you need to think about. But right, it's certainly worth having the discussion considering your unrest level is high.
Mm.
Okay, yes, I would like to have that discussion. So I was just looking at the costs. I just couldn't find the table again.
To the left of the sandpit.
Left of the sandpit.
To the left, in a little box from the sandpit to the left. How's that song go?
There's
Who's
so
that?
many boxes.
Beyonce?
So many boxes.
Look for the gold stack of coins next to Calpurnicus in the Curia. Just immediately to the lower left of the cat in the sandpit.
Oh my god.
Land bills. Would you like me to put you back there?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, it's
I'm
okay.
really slow.
I'll bring you back in there so you can have a look. So yeah, each tier represents how much unrest level is removed, essentially, and you can see the cost underneath each type. There you go. You should be able to see that now again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. But can it only come from the state revenue, or it can come from personal revenue?
No,
as well
only the state revenue. It only comes from state revenue.
Oh.
But remember, it's only paid when the state pays its debt in the revenue phase, not immediately. So perhaps worth running some sums and considering that in your other proposals going forwards. Who knows? You may decide to disband some legions. I don't know. It all depends what your strategy is. You know, still got some wars to think about as well.
Yeah, correct. Can I hear some other opinions on the putting forward the land bill to reduce the unrest?
Probably the first thing it might be worth just to have a feel of what kind of money we have to actually play with. If we run just a mock revenue phase and kind of see where our numbers could kind of lay. Let's.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
We grab out a document so we can kind of discuss as we go along. So we've got our starting at 49. We're obviously going to receive our plus 100. We're also going to receive a number of talents from taxes from our provinces. Which let's have a look. State, we've got like a 2d6. We've got a negative by the looks of that. So we've got a province that's going to be costing the state some money. So let's just say we've got a positive 1d6, a positive 2d6. So approximately a 2d6 roll. So let's just say plus 3 talents, or sorry, plus 6 talents from our, well, no, 3 because it's only a 1d6, sorry. Actually, no, 2. Let's just say plus 6 talents from our provinces on average.
155.
Let's have a look. Let's just go with a worst case scenario and say we have 2 unprosecuted wars. So we'll do a minus of 40.
115.
And let's just go with the idea that we do not lose or disband any of our forces. I believe we've got 24 plus 10, so 34, 68. So
68
minus,
off 115.
So I've got 47. So probably the worst case scenario, we basically land back exactly where we were. We could get a random event which costs the state treasury 50 talents and we lose the game.
Oh.
Wow.
And that's without any private contributions.
Yes, this is the worst case scenario. This is 2 unprosecuted wars, and not lowering any of our active forces, which is definitely an option to consider later on. But currently, that's the worst case scenario.
And at -7, is it -7 unrest we have?
6, I thought 6.
Yeah, six in the unrest level right now.
Okay.
I thought it was probably worth lowering it. It was just making sure that would be a good option.
And I believe the omens will be in effect for that role as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, it doesn't get cleared until the forum phase.
And considering our highest ranking officer doesn't have any popularity currently, it's a +7 to whatever our role is. To be honest, I believe our most dire threat to the current republic is from her own people.
Yeah.
So if we don't
can I suggest? Sorry, go ahead, Lucius.
I was just going to say, if we don't do a land bid, we will have to look at personally doing games.
Yes, which I believe we will have an opportunity to do before we have to front to the public with our speech.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I wanted to suggest two things. One, that we all make a public commitment to put in one talent, at least one talent each to the State Treasury, which will bump us up over that danger level that could end the game without costing any of us too much. And then also, we could put in a stage 3 land bill, which has what's the benefit? The unrest level goes down by 3, and then once we get unrest to a agreed level, we could repeal it.
Mm-hmm.
So we make public commitment to that. So we all share in the benefits, and then we all share in the costs once we get the unrest level to whatever is a satisfactory level, which I don't know what that is, but let's say it's 2 or 3 or something. Or 2.
We also got to
wouldn't happen in this Senate. It would happen in some future Senate.
Yeah. Future us problems.
But we just need to make a public commitment to that so that nobody reneges and tries to keep the benefits of both.
Yeah, so I certainly think that the one talent each, is perfect because obviously that gets us out of the absolute worst case. So I certainly agree with that.
One way, if I may assist you here, I think what you're doing by making a public deal is a good thing. To make sure everybody is bound by any public agreement that you make, perhaps you need some way of signing a document. For example, if everybody puts a particular word in chat, which is their signature on any public deal that you do. So whoever's putting through the public deal, announce what that is so that's nice and clear, and then perhaps have everybody who's signing up to that public deal put a particular word in chat as their signature, and that way you can know it's binding then.
I think also, just to play maybe the devil's advocate to that idea, we could have a similar effect by just reducing our current force level. For an example, we could drop a number of fleet forces. Just having a quick look at the 2 unprosecuted wars we do have, we have currently 10 fleets and we would only require 7 to prosecute both wars. So by removing 3 fleets, we would remove 6 talents worth of upkeep, which does the same thing.
It's a good idea. I like that.
Well, I certainly think, we're probably going to fight one of these wars, I would assume. So in the worst case scenario, we'd lose some forces.
Yeah.
Which solves that problem for us.
Oh well.
Oh well.
That's the church speaking.
Let's say no. Don't pin this in the Pontifex, please. This is Fabius. He's away from her.
Yeah. Because I certainly don't want to sound too doom and gloom when I said the numbers we would be in a danger of losing though, and that was certainly the worst case scenario if the Senate doesn't take any action basically for an entire year, that where the State Treasury would be at.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
noted, but good risk management means that we take care of our worst case scenario.
Yes, of course.
Perhaps if Julius is sponsoring it, perhaps Julius could make a commitment to put in a small amount to the State Treasury to ensure that we're a little bit more comfortable as well.
I believe if Julius
I don't think we need to. Isn't that the point?
We're covered?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe if Julius is going to be spending any amount of his personal wealth, it should be towards sponsoring games. Both
Yeah.
lowering the unrest of the people, as well as raising his personal popularity with the people in preparation for his speech.
Yeah.
Sulpicius is more than happy to be a co-sponsor.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Okay. So
probably my next question is, with the idea of doing the games, do we need such a large land bill? Currently, we've got.
What's the trade-off between the two?
Yeah.
Obviously, the games comes from personal treasuries, where the land bill is going to be an ongoing drain upon the resources of Rome, as well as we all say when the unrest level gets to a reasonable amount, we just repeal. There are negative effects to repealing a popular bill within the people. Who among you would stand forth and take a negative hit when standing in front of the people?
Surely it'd be the sponsor who would then lose the popularity buff.
Remember, everybody that votes for the repeal of a land bill will lose popularity. So if you all are going like, yeah, we need to repeal this land bill in the future, if you vote for it, you're going to lose popularity. So the sponsor and co-sponsor will lose the appropriate amount of popularity as it lists in the table, and then everybody who votes for it will also lose 1 popularity.
So can they abstain from the votes?
No, there's no such thing as abstaining on a land bill. You're either for it or against it.
Are the games going to be enough to bring down the unrest enough?
Perhaps we have a look at just doing a type 1, which I believe doesn't have a repealing effect because it only occurs once.
Correct.
Which will lower the unrest by 1. It costs us the 20. We just need to be mindful of that 20 effect, which would be the same cost of an unprosecuted war when we go into the revenue phase in the next year. We sponsor a well-funded games, which probably at least looking at like a -2 to the unrest, a +2 to popularity, so that's a change of 4 and a change of 1. So we're probably looking at a -2 to the roll when we come to our State of the Republic, which I think is manageable. But I'm happy to hear other people's opinions here.
Yeah.
And in terms of funding that, would we have a sort of would we agree to provide Marker a talent or 2 so that you can fund the games?
Well, you do them individually, don't you?
Well, just if she doesn't have enough.
That's right, but
sometimes it can be a bit short, depending on. I thought there was different levels of games as well too. Some were more expensive than others.
That is correct.
So,
for the benefit of the Senate, I'll read out these costs. A slice and dice game is a cost of 7 talents, which will be an unrest change of 1 with a popularity gain of 1. You have a Bloodfest, which is the cost of 13 with changes of 2, and a Gladiator Gala of the cost of 18 talents, which is a +3 to popularity and a -3 to unrest. Note, each additional level that you raise the game costs 1 talent less in equivalency if you just did the base level game 3 times in a row.
So we could just about all afford. We could just about all of us afford a game, which would be -6.
Well, yes, that we all could collectively.
But she also gets the popularity bonus. For,
yes.
For the role,
it's
just worth noting.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, if we all donated 2 talents each, that would probably almost be enough. I'm assuming based on Marker and her income, and 12 to 10 talents, I would hope.
Yeah, I have 4 in the faction treasury as well that I can put in as well.
So, yeah, so that would be more than enough if we all donated 2 to her for the Bloodfest or Gladiator Gala or whatever it is for -3 to the unrest.
So that sounds acceptable to me. Decimus's point that we need to have some sort of public showing of commitment to that, noting that trust levels can be low in some parts of this screen of mine, without naming names. So perhaps we could do it. So essentially the collective motion is that we would each donate to erudite faction.
Yep. And we would not put forward the land bill. Was that the agreement?
No, it'd be with the land bill.
With the one land bill.
With the tier 1
the type 1 land bill, with being aware that it will cost us 20 talents next turn with the numbers we discussed.
Yeah. But it's an important part of this round to reduce that unrest level to make things more manageable in the future. Okay. So I'm going to put forward a proposal to the Senate. The proposal is going to be that we are going to put forward one is a public agreement.
Oh, hang on. I'll stop you there. So a public agreement is not a proposal. So that's okay, separate. So I'll just like to highlight that.
Yep. Okay. Well, do we do the public agreement first or after?
I think that's a good idea. I just wanted to differentiate because it's not voted on, but it's just something that you all agree to.
So that's going on in the chat right now. So we have three factions that have agreed.
Yep.
Then perhaps just for the benefit of the Senate, I'll just read out my understanding of the public agreement is that each of the faction will be donating 2 talents to Julius each, whereby Julius will be raising a gladiator gala.
Yep, gala. Yep.
Yeah, a gladiator gala in order to lower the unrest level by 2 and gain 3 popularity for himself.
That's right. That's what I'm agreeing to.
Yes, that is what I am agreeing to.
Yep, no, I agree to that
Me
as
too.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do agree to it, then put that in the chat. Obviously, Quintus Octavius is deciding not to agree to that, so he's not bound by that public deal.
If possible, I'll make up his share.
Yeah. Thank you. In return, I think at another point of this, I may be able to help repay your support there as well too, later on when in the revolution phase. Okay, so that has been agreed to. Moving on, I'm going to put forward a proposal for a Type 1 land bill to help to reduce the unrest level by 1. And this is going to cost us 20 talents. And I am going to see a show of votes, starting with Marcus Decimus.
Before you go forwards, I need to hear who the sponsor and co-sponsor are.
It's probably beneficial if Julius is the sponsor as well.
So Julius is going to be the sponsor for the land bill.
And I think Lucas offered to
Cato the Elder. He's going to get a bit risky now that his life flashed before his eyes.
Okay, so first of all, I call on Marcus Decimus.
I'll place my 6 votes for the proposal.
Yep, thank you. And now I call on House of Julii.
15 votes for.
Yep. Numerous Aurelius.
2 votes for.
Thank you. And Cornelius Jacobus.
7 in favour.
And Quintus Octavius.
Now, if I'm remembering correctly, I vote against this, something happens, right?
So for
And if
every
I
one
vote
of your
towards
senators
this-
that votes against the proposal, they will each lose popularity. So now you could split your vote if you wanted. So you could have half vote for and half vote against. You don't always have to vote the same way for all of your senators, right? But just note that if you vote against this land bill proposal, you'll each lose 1 popularity. Unless, of course, it's vetoed.
I'm fine with losing 1 popularity.
Okay. So are all of your senators voting against the motion?
Yep.
Okay. So make sure
How
you
many is that?
deduct.
How many votes?
9.
4.
Oh, well, yeah, I deduct 4 popularity, but
Yep, sorry.
9 votes against.
Markup?
10 votes for.
10. So
Yes, correct.
that's 45 in. Is it 45? Sorry, double check here. 44 and 9 against.
Yep.
All right. Motion carries. So perhaps if you could help out again, Demurius Aurelius, if you could please add 1 popularity to Julius for the Type 1 land bill. And of course, Lucius Julius knows what to do for him. You can have, sorry, it's two popularity for Julius, 1 popularity for down in Lucius Julius's faction
Okay.
for a Type 1. And and for, Marcus Decimus, maybe you can get the Type 1 land bill and throw it on the appropriate box for us. You know where they are, down below there.
If I remember correctly, yes. Just give me a sec.
When your whole faction went for a walk one day, some of the land bills went with it too.
Yes, I think I see it.
Yeah, you throw a number Type 1 in the Type 1 box. So Julius is now on 2 popularity, and we see, was it Cato the Elder as the co-sponsor now gets the 1 popularity there. Very good. And as per the table, the House of Incognita, they all cop their -1 popularity hit there. That's all good across the board. We can see that now. Good. Okay. All right. And the Type 1 land bill is on the board. Very good. Right. That's done.
Excellent.
We can go ahead. Has the unrest level been decreased? Yes, it has. Good. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're not disbanding any forces. At this point?
Are we not?
Yep.
Well, how many wars are we going to fight? Should I ask?
Yeah. Maybe just a point of order to the Rome Consul. The dictator last year put forward a new process within our steps that the Field Consul will now inform the Senate of the current issues facing Rome.
That is true.
Yep.
You guys did pass that as a proposal, so yes, you guys should actually follow that. That's well
over.
remembered.
Yep. Passing over to Quintus Octavius to give us the update on the wars and the state of Rome.
Oh, let's be real. State of Rome's pretty crap. I'm gonna put it blunt. No one's really working together ever since you guys decided to kill a Flaminius. No one's actually decided to put anything together, so I think it's kind of well deserved.
What are the wars?
War's alright, not too bad, quite young. You know, you guys gotta have some fun, right? Let's make this as difficult as possible. I plan to have some fun coming up, so let's just see how it goes.
Thank you for that update. It's been very informative as to the state of our
That leaves us
affairs.
all with confidence.
I
Can I play a tribune card, please?
Yeah, certainly can.
yes,
Permitted?
correct.
Do you want me to drag it somewhere?
Please, if you could drop it in the sandpit, just for process sake. All right, and because there's currently not a proposal on the floor, we get to hear your proposal. So go ahead and make your proposal there.
Hi. Here at Pre-Byzantium faction, I believe that looking at the treasury, which is quite low, 2 wars facing Rome, that we are correct, as the Field Consul said, in a dire situation. But we personally here believe that the enthusiasm that the Field Consul has generated is not helping the current cause. So we would like to pass a proposal. We propose to censor the Field Consul, not in a legitimate proceedings, as in a prosecution, but simply that we all put forward our disposition towards the Field Consul, that we are displeased with him. So the proposal will be that we vote in favour of condemning him for his lack of leadership under this crisis. And so I guess I will... Do I call for votes? Or?
So the presiding magistrate will still be the one to call for votes, but just to clarify, and this is awesome, by the way, I think this is fantastic, the fact that he actually used a tribune on a censorship is phenomenal. So yes, this is a censure, C-E-N-S-U-R-E, a censure of an individual. It is a minor proposal which essentially lets the Senate know on record that they are displeased with somebody, and that goes into the annals of history that is the case, if it is in fact voted in favour upon by the Senate. But the proposal has been put forward by a tribune presented by Pre-Byzantium, and it is now up to the Rome Consul to call and collect those votes as per normal as the presiding magistrate.
Thank you for your proposal. We have listened and we have heard. I am now going to call upon you to place your votes, Numerous Aurelius, in... Yep.
2 votes in favour of the proposal.
2 votes in favour. Thank you very much. And now I am going to call upon Marcus Decimus for his votes.
I'll place my 6 votes for the proposal.
Okay. Now Cornelius Jacobus.
7 enthusiastic votes for.
And now Lucius Julius, the House.
Given the state of unrest and the nervousness of the plebs, 15 votes for.
Okay. Now, I also call on Quintus Octavius, House of Incognita.
Well, as my final wording, good luck, have fun. I put 9 for this.
It's all right. It's okay to be displeased with your own behaviour. I think that's sensible.
No, I just want to see how this ends up.
And the Erudite House wishes to 10 votes abstain, because I feel like a good parent should be, you know what I mean, neutral on the subject.
So we have 39 in favour and 10 against.
Okay,
Motion is carried.
Motion is carried. The Senate has put forward a formal censure against a particular senator. In this case, which senator did they censure in this case? Or was it Flaminius, representative of Quintus Octavius?
Yes, the Field Consul.
Yep. There we go. A censorship of Flaminius. So the Senate has put on the record that they are disgruntled with him. Oh, an anonymous gifter has given Poached Trout a tier 1 sub. Very thank you. Gratis Tibiago to the anonymous gifter. That's our first anonymous gift on this channel as well, at the tier 1. So thank you very much. Nova Roma thanks you. And all of Rome and the glorious Republic. Victor Respublica.
Okay.
Back to you, Rome Consul.
Thank you very much. Now we were going to put forward the motion whether or not to raise or to disband any forces, whether or not that was necessary. We discussed it earlier, whether or not to disband any. I'm just confirming if we have any other opinions to put forward on the matter.
Nope.
No? Okay.
No.
Yep. No,
No,
great.
no.
Now we can assign any legions to any garrisons and to any provinces.
Yes, always worth considering. It's always nice to be able to bolster any local forces with a garrison or two. Looking at the province cards themselves, noting what wars they are susceptible to, and what you think might be coming.
So I just wish to raise, I guess, if the console doesn't mind, that we did discuss sending, I believe, informally one legion to Gaul, simply to effectively double the existing provincial legions, because that will double their strength. So I believe that would be a useful endeavour. Just sending I guess we can send more than one, but at minimum, one would be useful.
And would that same benefit be felt in all the provinces?
If you send garrisons there, then that will certainly bolster having forces there. Right now, both Terentius and Cornelius don't have any provincial forces, noting that Sardinia can't in fact employ any at all. They can only employ fleets, but having a force there is better than no forces, and it counts towards the base strength. So Sicilia only has a strength of 2, for example. With a garrison, it gets 3. Sardinia has a base strength of 0. With a garrison, it gets 1. So, it's always worth having. But it's probably more useful right now, perhaps in the case of Gallia Cisalpina, where there's 2 provincial legions only worth half their strength. But with a provincial garrison there, they become worth full strength. So you're effectively almost doubling your strength there, right?
Yep. Would it be much benefit extra to send 2 than to send 1?
Well, yes, I think is the answer to that. It's all about your cost benefit, right?
We've got to pay the upkeep on them.
Sure. Well, let's have an actual discussion of what it does and what we expect to happen in the future. We're obviously looking at sending forces there to bolster its defense against the Second Punic War. My understanding is this will occur basically in lieu of a unprosecuted war. So rather than being unprosecuted, the war will then go and attack one of our particular goal, our provincial area there. So even if the Second Punic War would become active during the next year, my understanding it will just be an imminent war and then become active the next turn. So we could look at possibly not sending any forces yet, or just waiting till next turn. We'll see the war on the horizon. It will be active, and then we can either decide to engage it or sending a defensive bolstering to hold out against the war next turn.
If I might clarify there, so my understanding is, so because we have Hannibal in the Curia, if you draw the Second Punic War in the next Forum phase, it immediately goes active. Because now, if the First Punic War was still there, it would be imminent. But because, and again, it depends on whether there's an armaments icon. So if Hannibal wasn't there at all, if there was no enemy leaders, and the Second Punic War had no armaments, then it'd just be inactive and it'd just sit there. It's because Hannibal's in the Curia.
I think it was my understanding it was like when a leader is drawn, if there's a matching card, it becomes active, not the other way around. But maybe that's not my misunderstanding.
And Poach Trout's backing me up here. So the scenario is, if the Second Punic War is drawn in the Forum phase, it'll immediately become active because Hannibal is there in the Curia, awaiting to be assigned, essentially.
Okay.
But it would be different if the First Punic War is active, which is not there currently. So note that the moment that you draw the Second Punic War, and considering we're coming towards the end of this deck, I'm assuming it's still in the first deck here, unless there's been some errors, you're going to see it pretty soon, and it's going to become active straight away.
Yeah, which I still believe we'll have another Senate phase to be able to bolster a defense or send an attacking force. So
thanks to unknown staff at the beverage time. Sorry to interrupt.
People have been executed for less.
So we probably have some time to continue to discuss. It might be worth more so discussing what forces we would need to prosecute any wars, if we would then disband the remainder or then send anything left over to provincial defenses. So unfortunately, it's one of those things where a string pulls on another string that pulls on a string that loops back to the start. It's hard to discuss any one aspect of the Roman military forces without having a general overview of the entire course of action.
So I guess
Well,
in
that's what general
response,
overview
since
on
I was
charge
the one who, raised, since I raised the, sending the Legion there, if we simply look at the cost benefit, it costs us 10 to raise one. So technically, if we disband it, it's going to cost us 10 again to raise it versus keeping it for 5 turns. So the utility of having these soldiers for 5 turns, is it higher keeping them versus disbanding them to save, the small amount of gold? Because looking at the wars and the potential future wars, to me, it kind of seems as if it would be better to keep them because, it would be a severe upfront cost to raise them again versus keeping them to fight, because we've got 2 wars at the moment, potentially the other Punic War coming straight away. So yeah, it seems a bit, I don't know what the word would be, premature to disband them.
Okay.
Yeah, a false economy, I think, is probably what I would see it as. So I tend to agree.
What's happening, Rome Consul?
Okay, so we're considering sending 1 extra garrison to the province.
Which one?
To Gaul.
Yep.
Because, as you were saying, if we draw the Second Punic War, we are going to have issues. So I'm going to put that forward as a proposal that we send 1
Do we
to Gaul.
Yep.
Do we
Sorry,
have
do we
to
have to
vote on
discuss
it?
which one we send? Because we have veterans and normal legions. Would it be better to send one or the other? I guess is another question to ask. Since we could send one,
We're talking about?
but it would obviously count as 2.
Oh.
So I guess does anyone have any opinions on that? I guess is it worth to send a veteran legion? I don't have an opinion.
Send the
personally.
11th.
Send the 11th. Send the 13th.
I think since the value of veteran legions are so high, we want to ensure that we're utilizing veteran legions every possible opportunity we have, and I don't think them sitting back enjoying the local food is the best way to utilize a veteran force.
All I can hear is you don't want the veterans to live an idyllic life, so I take that as
I don't mind them being fat and lazy if they're not marching into Rome.
I think that's a perfectly good point. I didn't particularly have a view on it. Simply wanted to bring it up as a potential decision. But that's probably very well true, and I agree with you. So I guess one standard legion then.
Yes.
Would be the proposal, I guess.
Correct. Okay, so I'm going to put that forward as a proposal that we send 1 standard legion to Gaul. And I'm going to take votes, starting with Numerus Aurelius.
2 votes in favour. Actually, sorry. Does that count as sending? Do I get extra Pontifex Maximus for that? Or is that only going to war?
No, it's not a war.
No, it's not a war.
Okay, 2 votes then. In favour, just to reiterate.
Okay, next I'll hear from Marcus Decimus.
I'll go 6 votes for.
Next, Cornelius Jacobus.
7 in favour.
Next, Lucius Julius.
15 in favour.
And next, Quintus Octavius.
Censured.
You've been censured, not censored. Yeah. So you can talk. You may speak.
You're muted, Quintus. Don't know if you realise.
Unless he's holding a mute of his own accord.
Self-censorship.
We can go with 9-4.
9-4, there you go.
9-4. Yep. And
I'll go back
erudite
to being
faction
mute.
is 10 votes for.
Holy
Alright, well, it's
dooly.
unanimous.
Sempronius Agricola coming through with 10 tier 1 gifted subs. Holy dooly.
Jeez.
So that's quite a few there. A whole bunch of people getting subs there. Thanks to Sempronius Agricola. Well done to you, good sir. Gratias Tibiago. Holy dooly, that's a big haul. Lots of people with subs now. Our sub team is
Love to see
growing.
it.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
That
Yeah,
was
cheers,
unanimous.
cheers, Sempronius.
And I counted 46 in favour, which is an odd number.
Excellent.
All right.
So, can
we'll
I
let
get
the
somebody...
we'll let the governor pick. If you want to pick one of your standard legions there, governor, and go pop it up with your provincial forces on the map,
Let me see.
and that'll give you a total strength of 8 in the region. Then that's not bad.
22.
So can I just check the last
Even the
vote?
22nd.
I have a odd result. So I had 2 for Numerius Aurelius, 6 for who has 6?
That'll be myself. Yes.
Marcus.
Yeah, 7 from me. Maybe I was wrong.
There has been a change to the votes since we've had
Correct.
governorships.
The governor's left. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the last couple of votes we've had 49 in total. This time I only counted 46. So 7 for me,
Yeah,
15 from
no, that's
Lucius.
correct.
Yeah, because I lost
Marcus
lost one
2,
vote.
And Trentus.
And I lost 4 votes.
Okay.
Oh, it should be,
All right,
should
so
be
we're good at
44
46.
then. No, shouldn't it be 44? If Marcus lost 4 and we lost 1. So 49
Yeah,
minus
so
5.
let's see. So 42 I count. That's right. So that's right, isn't it? Sorry. Thank you. Just want to get the record right.
Very good. All right, our first provincial garrison. That's pretty cool. The 22nd. Nice. I like it.
Thank you for your support. Fabius up in Gaul sends a missive thanking the Senate for his support.
Okay. So, next on the agenda is whether or not we are going to be prosecuting a war. So,
And just a quick one, Consul. I'm noting that you can, of course, do this in any order, but it'd be great if you could also award the medals today as well. In the sandpit.
excellent.
Yep.
Okay, I'll do that.
Just before you send everybody off to war.
Yes. Okay, so in the sandpit, here we go. Beautiful. The first, here we go. We have the first medal is to Aemilius for fighting against the First Punic War. I'd like to welcome him forward to get his beautiful elephant medal.
Very good. Receiving his
Sandpit.
Punic War campaign medal. There we go. Excellent. So, Aemilius, you're welcome to come and grab your medal from the sandpit there. Well done. And pin that on the chest of... he's now got 3 medals there, which is really good.
Impressive.
Quite the war hero.
You can see who the warmongers are.
Excellent.
Okay, so next we have a medal for Quintius Flaminius. Pardon?
No,
Yep,
they're all going to him, aren't they?
yep, you're correct.
Well,
Eagle of Valor, Eagle of Courage, Eagle of Supremacy. It's a lot of medals.
You can all the explanations are there if you care to read them out.
Yep.
What
So
they're
we
for.
have the Eagle of Valor for winning a war that has 4 or more disaster or standoff numbers. The Eagle of Courage for winning a war against an enemy of strength 20 or greater. Eagle of Supremacy for taking no losses in a victory against a war. The Cross of adversity for winning a war that has previously ended in disaster, and the Punic War Campaign Medal for fighting in the Punic Wars. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you very much, Senator. Thank you.
That's one gonged out senator. That's awesome. So feel free to grab all of your medals. I think I've got to get you an enemy leader pip because you were fighting an enemy leader there as well. Well, two technically.
Two.
So I've got to get you some pips. So I'll work on that in the background, and Aurelius will need some pips as well. 2 on that Punic War Campaign medal. 1. Then I'll grab a second here for that one. There we go. Yeah, feel free to carry on. I'll do this in the background.
Okay. Moving forward to the next order of business was the discussion around the wars that we have. So, would we like to prosecute any of these wars this session?
Both.
Both.
Is that possible without a dictator?
Yep.
Because obviously the dictator and the master of the horse have such a... No, it simply means numbers-wise. Do we have enough legions? Because looking at the wars, it's 16, 21, 32
So we have
total.
enough fleet support. So we're confident there, right?
Yep. So the thing is, it's
So
32
yeah,
land
so I think you're right.
forces.
It's only a question of legion.
Yeah, 32 land forces plus the military of just the one leader's 36. It's 31 required, and ours is, I think, 23 now plus 7, so 27 against 31. So would be in a pretty negative rolls against both of them.
Fair point.
Okay. So if we were to just prosecute one, which one would we pick? Probably.
From my perspective, I think the Syrian war, simply because if you look at the distribution of the disasters and standoff numbers, they're slightly higher, which on the probability table of the D6 means that they are less likely than the Macedonian war.
But there's also 4 numbers there as opposed to just 3 for the Macedonians.
It's what, 4 and 4?
No, because it's 2 14s.
I see.
Ah.
Yeah, I see 4 for the Mac. Oh, yes, you're right. Oh, apologies, I didn't see that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I wonder if that changes. Let me look at the tables.
That might be an interesting question for the example where you have a senator that removes the negative rolls from the war but not the leader when there's a duplicate. I imagine the 14 would still be a standoff because technically it's on the leader as well.
That's fascinating. Yeah, when you got a duplicate. So I don't know if the rules explicitly address when there are duplicate numbers in this case here, but as far as I'm concerned, if it exists on the war card and you have a hero, or rather a commander who nullifies that, then I would consider it also nullified on the hero in this case. So 14 is a safe roll if your commander nullifies it on the war card. That is my opinion here, and that's what we're going to go with unless somebody else corrects me.
Yep.
Do we have a commander that does that?
We do, but
May have one in their hand.
he's neither in the position or the age range to be able to prosecute.
Too much arthritis.
His campaigning days are done.
Yeah.
He's fought enough for Rome.
he can barely stand up with all his medals.
So for what it's worth, and I don't really mind, but my vote will be in, I suggest we go after the biggest, baddest bloke at the bar, and that's the Macedonians.
Okay.
I'm in a good general agreement.
Do we hear anything to the contrary, or are we in agreement that the Macedonian War would be the one that we would go after?
I think that probably lines up. It also matches well with how many fleets we have. Last time we had the double the fleet support in case we did roll a disaster. It wouldn't be classed as unprosecuted. Therefore, that same thinking would apply to the Macedonian War as well.
Mm.
And how many legions would we need to take in order to assure ourselves of an 18? So it would.
That was a good roll.
Yeah,
I'd
it worked out
to,
nicely last week.
I'd like to also hear from Quintus Octavius.
We'll be doing the fighting after all.
Send me in there. I do not particularly care as long as we win, guys.
So obviously he's got military of 4 plus the 16. So we probably have to send, I don't know, 16 legions. Marcus,
Which we can easily afford, right? So,
yeah,
so why wouldn't we?
23, and that's excluding the 3 double legions, so 26, the veterans, sorry. So,
but it's probably not worth sending additional legions if it doesn't affect our table, and then we're only at risk of losing more, because as there are possible consequences that dictate halves rather than a specific amount that we lose. So we should send what's required to do the job.
Agreed.
So I guess we should ask Marcus, since he's done the previous math, what you would recommend in your experience as a leader.
Sure. So we've got a military rating of 4. Which is going up against the enemy's 16, so that brings it down to 12. So if we send 12 legions, that would be a base roll of plus nothing. So that's at 12. If we go down and have a look at our combat rolls, if we wanted, no, that's the unrest table. Let me try to go to the victory. There we go. I had to zoom out a little bit. So if we wanted to guarantee a victory, so the lowest possible roll would be a 3. So we want a plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 would be the minimum to go for a victory. So there'll be 11 onto the 12. So that would be a military force of 23. Would be a victory with 4 losses at the lowest possible roll.
Don't forget your bad omens.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I thought bad omens didn't affect combat, because I know it didn't affect certain rolls.
It only doesn't affect event table rolls and one else.
Yeah,
Minus 1 penalty every die roll except for initiative and event tables, but it affects everything else.
Sorry. Yeah, okay, sorry. I was thinking of initiative.
Yeah.
So in that case, yeah, there would be an additional, so a 24 land force. We would be required to guarantee a victory from any roll. We
might as well send the other 2, because that way we just have a better chance of not having any losses, right? So
yes, with the only consequence of possibly losing another legion.
I agree with Marcus. We should use what's efficient and kind of no more.
The risk is so the upsides of sending them all is that we could potentially save ourselves from playing a 14 or a 15 and having those losses, and the downside is that we may lose one more. So it feels like it's best to send the whole army.
Yeah, so let's have a look. So if we roll a disaster, if we sent the 2 additional more, that would mean we would lose 1 legion. If we rolled extremely low and the additional 2 legions would benefit us, that would go, let's say an example, from losing 4 legions, 4 fleets, up to losing 2 legions, 2 fleets. So that would save us 4 forces, so 40 talents worth of resources at a risk of losing 10 talents.
1. Yeah, that's right. So that seems like a good trade-off.
I think so too. considering there's probably about 3 low rolls where those numbers would benefit us, the extra legions, and only 1 possible disaster. Or correction. Obviously, 2 possible disaster rolls.
Okay, so we've been discussing whether or not to send the whole army or whether or not to send a lesser force. That's correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did we have any other opinions on the size of the army to send?
No, I'm in favour of that.
Okay, in favour of the full army, is that correct?
The full army, yes.
So that's 5 fleets and 24 legions. Will that be the proposition?
I believe the proposition should be the entire fleet as well, because the idea is if we did roll a disaster, we would lose half the fleet, bring us down to 5. That would still mean the the Field Consul would still be able to continue the battle and ensure that the war doesn't get classed as unprosecuted. Therefore, we won't take the unrest loss, and we won't take the 20 talent penalty for unprosecuted war.
Are there any? And what were the downsides to sending such a large army?
On a disaster or stalemate, we lose fraction of our forces in those cases. So obviously, the larger force that we send, that risks more legions being lost on a disaster or stalemate.
That's just one consequence.
Of course, other consequences could be rebel senators, giving them larger forces.
And what could happen there?
A victorious commander returning to Rome could decide to rebel against and not stand down. But in that kind of consideration, we should have a good judgment of how much we expect a rebel senator personal wealth to be the factional wealth, because he would need to maintain the upkeep of any forces he would be marching to Rome with.
There's also a step in there where he needs to convince the legions to be with him as well. I mean, veteran legions stay automatically, but you'd need to roll for every legion under his command to see if they'd stay, and of course that's also affected by the bad omen roll.
Yeah, it is. It's my personal opinion that the attempting to be a rebel senator under the current effects of the situation we find ourselves in would be not advantageous to that senator.
Quintus Octavius, what do you think?
Well, seeing as my brain's half awake,
You're doing well. You're doing really well. Hang in there.
I'm trying. What do you call it? I just believe we should send all the forces we can possibly just to try and get it over and done with, because the likelihood of actually having a rebel senator is slim to none, as you were saying, because of the effects.
Yeah, it's pretty tough in the early republic to be a rebel.
Agreed. Okay. So, thank you everybody for your input. I'm going to put that to the floor, and I'm going to call for votes that we are going to prosecute the Macedonian War over here, and we are going to send all of our fleets and all of our armies to this war. I'm going to call for votes. Firstly, from Marcus Decimus.
I'll do my 6 votes to prosecuting the Macedonian War.
Yep. And then the House of Julii.
16 votes for.
Don't forget your priests and battle votes for Pontifex Maximus 2 this round, folks.
Yep.
Yep. And Cornelius Jacobus.
7 in favour.
Quintus Octavius.
9 in favor.
Numerous Aurelius.
4 in favor.
Yep.
Good.
And House of Erudite, 10 in favor.
It's unanimous, and the tally comes to 52 votes in favour.
Excellent. So,
All right.
Let's go to war.
I'm just setting up the war area right now. No, that's the wrong token. I didn't want that one. I've got our general in the active area at the moment. I've set up the war. They're ready to roll.
beautiful
Just putting-
helmet.
Yep, he's looking dashing there. Bring that to the front, just so we know which
They always
console
fit
he is.
perfectly.
If you want to put an away from Rome flag over Flaminius
Yeah, I
for
can do
us, so that we can tell he's away from Rome, and perhaps update your faction votes accordingly. And I can see our legions are already on the march, and the fleets are there, which is great. It's good to see. And I think that's all in order, ready for the combat phase when we get there. Perfect.
The don't sleep phase.
We'll take a break for yourself shortly, good sir.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. We can get going.
I'm impressed. That's it? Yeah, good. Let me fix up that token for you. I'll put it on top so it does what it's supposed to. There we go. Excellent. Thanks for that. All right, back to you, Rome Console.
Okay. Thank you. Now, are we going to do the rolls?
Which roles are they, Console? Bear in mind, we're still in the Senate phase right now. We're still in the Senate phase.
So we're not-
and I think what you're thinking about is we've often gone to war once we've passed a proposal like that. But remember, the Senate phase only concludes if the presiding magistrate is themselves sent to war, or if the presiding magistrate deems the Senate closed at their whim. But have a final look over your cheat sheet there. See if there's anything else that you want to consider. Really, there's nothing else pressing other than perhaps, any minor motions that you're thinking about. But outside of that, you're coming towards the end of your session, unless somebody throws out a tribune for a proposal of their own. But,
No. Okay.
Assassinate someone.
Pardon? Did I hear a tribune? What was it?
No. You keep going. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, then that concludes the Senate session.
All right. Very good. I think
Well done, Centaur.
that's good.
Console.
Thanks,
Well
yeah. That was a good session. I think what we would do is we might execute the war, then we might take a break at that point, considering that was quite a lengthy Senate session. So let's get ready for the combat phase then.
Yep.
And let's have a look. So we're all lined up there. We're already good to go. I'll also help do the sums here, but we've pretty much already done them already. But I'm going to go through it just for
Sorry, can
clarification. Yes, come in.
Sorry, as the Pontifex Maximus, we've historically
good.
done a prayer.
Yeah, good.
If I would like to read them. Okay. So I try to be historically accurate. So this is from Tacitus's Histories, volume 4, number 58. Slightly edited, mind you, to reflect our present circumstances. So it goes as following. I implore and entreat you, Jupiter Optimatus Maximus, to whom for 820 years we have paid the highest honours in so many triumphs, and I pray and venerate you, Father of the city of Rome, if you would not be pleased to see this camp remain pure, preserved, and inviolate under our command, may you at least not allow it to be polluted and defiled by the Macedonians. Grant that the soldiers of Rome may either be granted victory in war, or at least that they may be granted a speedy blessing in the afterlife.
Hurrah.
Thank you.
Very good.
May the gods look favourably upon us. I'm loving these historically accurate speeches. They're very motivating, and that's I love to see it. That's what this game's all about, and that certainly brings in an awesome touch. It's a shame that you had to suffer those bad omens for all the good work that you do.
That's how it is.
That's along the way.
Heavy is our head that bears the
Yes.
I don't know what you call it.
True.
Not the crown, waiting for the preset.
True. All right. So before we have the commander roll, let's run our numbers. So tell me about so we meet the fleet requirements. That's a big tick. Well done there. Let's talk to me. What is our total legion strength? So not our army strength, just our legion strength, noting that veterans are double.
26.
26. And what is the strength of our commander? 4, which gives us a total strength of 30 on the Senate side. All right, let's talk about the enemy strength, including their hero, which is land forces, that is.
That was
For the Second
16
Macedonian War.
total.
What is it?
16 in total.
16.
16 in total. So that gives us a base difference of 14. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right, 14. There we go. So we're positive 14, which is a very nice base number to begin with. So we're going to add that to whatever 3d6 roll comes out of the commander's sword hand. So with now minding, we're going to get a -1. So let's make that a +13 because of the bad omen. So there we go. So we've already included the bad omen in our numbers there. So we're going to add +13 to the 3d6 roll. So if I could kindly ask the commander now to lead his forces to victory, provided we don't get a disaster or standoff. Here we go.
36. All right, let's begin.
He rolls a 13. Is that a good number?
No.
Yeah. No.
No. What is it?
Disaster.
A disaster.
Disaster.
Oh, that's
But
very
isn't it 13 minus 1? You don't.
Nah, it's based off the raw 3d6 roll, I'm afraid.
Dang.
Oh, I thought it was off the dice. So I thought that was a 12.
Looks like we're paying less legions.
The chat tells me it was a 13 on the die roll, and on the raw die roll, the 13 is a disaster. So perhaps Marcus Decumus, if you'd like to read us out the section from the rulebook which talks about the consequences of disaster, and we'll step through that nice and slow.
I'm already fairly familiar with it. I know automatically we're going to be losing half fleets and half our legions. We're going to be taking a unrest effect. We're also going to be drawing mortality chits equal to the number of losses of fleets and legions.
Mm-hmm. So is it both fleets and legions, or just legions?
Yeah, both fleets and legions.
Oh boy! So Flaminius is on tenterhooks here. So let's read this through. I would like to make sure we do get this correct, and I don't want to take away more from you than what I have to. So let's confirm, particularly with the deduction of legions and fleets, that it is in fact rounded up or rounded down. Although, do we have equal numbers? No, we've got odd numbers for legions, by the looks of it. So just double check, is that rounded up or rounded down?
Disasters, all right. I've found the section, sorry.
Good.
Each war leader has a black card, the roll of the dice.
Mm-hmm.
The automatic disaster causes the loss of half fractions rounded up of all participating Roman forces. Fleets and legions losses are each half rounded up separately.
Rounded up separately, hold it there. So we've currently got, is it 23 legions there total? Half that is 11, rounded up is 12. Is that correct for everyone's count?
Correct.
Cool, and then the fleets are even there, so we're going to lose just half of those as we see them. So let's do fleets first. They're random, and I like to roll my d20 here to make this truly random, in case anybody's got favourites. I know people can get quite attached to their fleets and legions. So let's do fleets first. Is there a fleet 5? Yes, there is. Let's remove that away. So we're going to remove a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to remove a total of 5 fleets here. Let's see. Do we have a 12 fleet? Nope. Keep moving.
No.
A 6 fleet? VI, is there a VI? Yes, there is. We'll move that out of the way. Okay, we're going to get another 4. Is there a 16 fleet? Nope. Is there a 5 fleet? No. And now I'm going to start doing close numbers here. So what number is closest to 17? The highest fleet there, 21. So 21 will go. We'll make this a little bit quicker. Closest number to 13 there, which appears to be 9, 10. 10 is closest. There we go. Get rid of that one. 2 more to go. 12. What's the closest to 12 there? Looks like it'll be
9.
9, yes. And finally, is there a 17? So that's the top highest number again, which is 8.
8.
There we go. So there's the 5 fleets. Now I'm just going to keep these here because we'll remember these. We need to do these. Remember these for the mortality chits that need to be drawn. Let's do legions, folks, and this could affect veterans as well. And I'm going to roll I'm going to roll a couple of d20s here to make sure I capture the full amount of legions that are on offer here. So first of all, is there a 12th Legion?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, pull them to the side for me. Is there a 1 Legion? Yep, get rid of them. Get rid of the 1 Legion. So we're going to get rid of 12 of these. Okay. Is there a 9th Legion? Yep, there is. There's a 9th Legion. Yep. Second row from the bottom. Get rid of the 3rd Legion while you're there. Is there a 21st Legion? Yes, there is. Get rid of the 21st.
Is there?
Is there an 18th Legion?
Yep.
Yep, get rid of the 18th. The 6th Legion.
Yep.
Yep, there is. Get rid of the 6th. Is there a 24th Legion?
Yep.
Yep, get rid of the 24th. Is there a 15th Legion?
Yes. No. Yes, there is. Yeah.
Get rid of the 15th. Get rid of the 10th.
Yep.
Get rid of the 14th.
Yep.
How many have we done so far?
Too many.
3, 6,
8,
9,
9, 10, 11. What, one more?
We've got one more to go.
11.
I need to get rid of the... I'm just seeing if it's on the board. Yeah, it's the veteran, the 13th.
No, damn it. That was mine.
Oh, was it? Okay. All right. So we've now removed the requisite forces there for the moment. I'm just going to tuck in the Navy next to the surviving ones there. Okay. Marcus Decimus, if you'd like to read us that next line in your paragraph there, please.
The Roman commander is not necessarily killed, but mortality chits equal to the number of legions and fleets actually lost in the disaster must be drawn to check his death.
Okay, so based on my count, he's going to draw 17 mortality chits. Can somebody confirm?
It should be 12 plus the 5.
Right.
So that is 17.
Okay, all right.
Fantastic.
So we're going to do this nice and slow. We're hoping we're not to draw a 13. We do not want to draw a 13.
Correction, I believe there's been 6 fleets taken away.
Yeah, that's it. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Should be 18. 18 mortality chit draws. That's even
No,
worse.
I believe a fleet
18.
should be returned because we had 10. So
Yeah,
half should be 5.
We're supposed to have. We calculated to have 5 at the end.
Ah, yeah, we've taken one too many fleets away. Yeah, I'll put one back. Here we go. There we go. Now it's 17. 17 mortality.
Turn from the dead.
Whew, okay. Yeah, he came from the fog of war and returned.
He's lost its stead.
Okay, all right. Commander Flaminius, start with your nice and slow. I'll read the numbers. Start with your first mortality you draw. Don't draw a 13. You draw an 18. Okay, I'm going to mark these off. Next one, please. 25. That's good. Next one. 9. Next one. None. That's a good one.
17.
17. That's okay.
29.
Good. Next one.
27.
Good. Next one.
15.
Ooh, close. That's okay.
5. It's
Good.
getting way too close for my liking. 27. 2. 1. How many have we done so far?
We've done 10, 12. 12 so far. Yep.
5 more. 29 again.
Good.
5.
Good.
I can't see that. 7.
Good.
12.
Oh.
17.
Hey,
Is
we
that
done?
it?
15, 16, 17. Holy dooly. You survived that. And
Flaminius is on the roll, man.
FFY, I think it gets you a medal too. It's called the Medal of Scutum for surviving 8 or more consecutive draws of death chits. So, wow. That is... to be honest, I did not expect you to survive that, but you
Why
did.
do I feel like if I click the next one, it's 13?
Yeah, go on, click it. Let's see what happens. Obviously, it doesn't count. 10.
No.
Okay, it is
His
your
luck
lucky
is
day.
too strong.
It is your lucky day.
It's amazing, all right?
So he gets to
Congrats,
stay
well
out there now with all those fleets, doesn't he?
Yes.
So he will stay there now as Proconsul. So if I could ask, perhaps Marcus Decimus, could you swap out his Field Consul at War token with the Proconsul at War token, please? Not the commander, yeah, that's it, the purple token itself.
Oh, I cannot move the purple token.
Unusual. Let's have a look at the properties. I wonder if... let me have a look at...
Well, while you're sorting out, I will get a Proconsul at War.
Yeah, if you could bring that up, that'd be very good. Curious. I'll have a look at that later. I'm not really buzzed. I'll bring that back down. But yeah, if you bung a Proconsul at War token for him, that'll remind us that he is in fact a Proconsul now.
And you'll just need to raise it to the front.
No one got a
Yep.
console.
Will do.
That's correct.
I'll leave you to keep your Field Consul token on your Senator in Rome, please. I'll get you to keep that for the moment, because that just is a reminder for us that you were in fact a consul previously, but you're Proconsul. So I guess it's not a biggie. It's just more note keeping. But yes, in other words, you are now in fact a Proconsul. All right, please read the next line, Marcus Decimus, of that paragraph.
Certainly. The unrest level is increased by 1.
All right, if somebody would like to do that, please.
And the surviving Roman commander remains in command as the consul unless recalled or killed.
Okay. Now, and perhaps Marcus Decimus, while you're there, if you'd like to dispose of those legions and fleets that died back to the force pool down the bottom, please.
You best keep them in numerical order like I had them.
Dispose of them for now. We'll do some numbering and housekeeping later on those. Okay, anything else we need to be aware of?
I do not believe so.
All right. I think at this stage that'll conclude the combat phase for now. So, not the outcome we were looking for, but nonetheless, it is what it is. So let's take a short break now, Senators, before we come back and we'll do the revolution phase. For all those at home watching in chat right now, we're going to take 5 minutes just so our Senators can have a leg stretch and lick their wounds. We'll be back very shortly. Please stick around if you can in chat, say hello, watch some ads. That really helps us raise funds for the channel as well. So, yeah, give us 5 minutes. We'll be back very shortly. Don't go away. All right. We are back. We are live. Thanks for joining us. If you're just tuning in into chat right now, very much appreciated you watching on and watching commercials and supporting this channel. We've seen some follows and we've seen some plenty of gift subs, particularly from Sempronius Agricola. So a big gratias to him. 1,000 thank yous for his enduring and ongoing support. An absolute champion and an amazing Roman all round. So thank you, Sempronius Agricola, for those 10 gifted subs before. So we had an interesting combat phase just then. If you are only just joining us now, or if you're looking for a refresher, unfortunately, our Senate, in good fashion, has come across a disaster on the Second Macedonian War under the command of Flaminius of the Incognita faction. Hefty losses for the Senate there. I suppose in part that's kind of positive that they won't have to pay for those. They do have a short treasury at the moment, but ideally a victory there would have been much better. So we'll now have to see the Senate deal with that going forwards. Thankfully, the commander survived, which was phenomenal. There were 17 death chit draws there, and he survived every single one of them. Kudos to him. He will get to see the award of his campaign medal and the Medal of Scutum, which is awarded for any senator who receives 8 or more death chit draws due to wars there as a commander. So
should be 1 to 15.
Yes. Truly amazing. Okay, so we're now in the revolution phase, folks. Let's head it back over to the highest ranking available officer to step us through. Oh no, she's still eating. It's all right. I'll continue on for the moment while you continue with your break there. So passage. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Let's go to the revolution phase. That's on the back of your cheat sheets. So those that are playing along. First of all, we get to talk about voluntary retirements first for those that wish to do that. Now, bearing in mind the eligibility here is you have to have a senator that is 7 years or older and has an influence of 20. So we're just going to physically do the checks around the board. So I'm going to zoom in initially on the Erudite faction. There's nobody eligible there. Aurelius is, of course, 7 years old, but doesn't have the requisite influence. We now go across to the House of Incognita. We have Aurelius, which is a grand 8 years old, but unfortunately falls short of that 20 influence barrier. Flaminius there is one, still a young'un, so no considerations for retirement there. Fortuna's Despair, we have quite a series of young guns there, nobody eligible. Across to the House of Julii, looking across the field, we have Aurelius, a grand 8 years old, but again, doesn't meet that requisite influence. Then across to the Justia Marita faction. Now we actually have 2 senators here that are of the age requirements, and we have one of the influence requirements. So at this point in time, I'll pose the question to Quinticus Flaminius and Marcus Decimus. Is there any, well, I guess particularly at Flaminius there, are you looking to retire him or not at this point in time?
I am looking to retire him.
You are looking to retire him at this point in time. Well, there we go. So we get to give a glorious send-off to this war hero. I guess we can make this a bit of a formality, which this is quite nice. Is there any final words that Flaminius would like to say before he steps down from office?
Firstly, you'd like to thank the Senate for all of his support. He's had a long career within the Senate, as well as many years as the dictator, managing control of the Senate and prosecuting tough wars that were required for the survival of Rome. He would like to thank all the senators for their support over this time, and he's looking forward to kick back and relax down in Sicily and have some great Sicilian wine.
Perhaps the governor there can look after you while you're down there. So let's give him a round of applause. Amazing, our first senator being able to retire here gloriously with honours, in quite the set of honours at that. All right, so let's go through the process of retiring the senator, which is essentially treating it as a natural death. So if you could, let's start by clearing tokens. So if you could return his age tokens, his Veteran Legion tokens, leave your influence there for the moment because we're going to do something with that, but clear your popularity and clear your Prior Consul. And perhaps shuffle your medals. I think they're grouped now, so if you click just on one, you should be able to drag your whole set up as one go up with your other medals on your faction tally. Oh, there we go. Let you do your thing there. And then, of course, the concession is going to go to the forum for allocation as well. So, now as a part of a retirement process, and this is coming, of course, from the Avalon Hills Living Rules Edition, which is version 2.16 Living Rules of the Avalon Hill edition here. So the influence here is considered is halved, which is rounded down from what I recall in the rules, and that half of influence is banked, and that will count towards, I guess, his final score, or the score of Marcus Decimus, when there is the game ends. Assuming, there's not an outright winner. So if there's a case where there is not an outright winner, then it comes down to whoever has the highest, most faction influence. So whatever his faction influence is at the end of the game, plus his banked influence will be his total score. So to be able to bank influence like this is quite good. So in this case here, it's 29, which when you're going to do the round down with 28, half of 28 is 14, if everyone agrees with my numbers. So you're going to be banking 14 influence, and I'll record this off screen for you, so you won't have to do anything on screen there. But if you could kindly, you can clear those grey tokens now and put those back in the bank. But I tell you what, to have 29 influence and 9 popularity for a senator is phenomenal. That is quite an achievement, as Poach Trout certainly points out for sure. Absolutely amazing. Now, senators, when they retire, or statesmen rather, the red statesman card, they go to the discard pile. So we will never get to see that particular statesman again, which is unfortunate, but as is the way. And so we'll pop him on the discard pile there as well. As is the faction leader, Quinticus will stay there with the faction. No other changes there. So Quinticus the Younger, the family card, will continue on in the service for this faction. So there's one final faction I need to check for voluntary retirements, and that's pre-Byzantium. But again, nobody is of age here to consider, just the 2 senators. Okay, that is voluntary retirements done. So let's talk about intrigues here. Let's go to the highest ranking available officer who gets to lead these activities off. So, of course, in this phase, you get to trade or play any cards from your hand, which is good if you've got cards that you wish to play at this point in time. So let's go to Marca Wedia of the Aphrodite faction. Would you like to play or trade any cards at this point? I think you're on mute right now. Just double check your mute for me.
Yes, I was thinking of making a trade.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Who are you looking to trade to?
I think Marcus Decimus.
Okay.
Yep. And I make a public agreement that for the trade of this card, I will pay her 10 talents. If you want to place the card in the forum, and I'll pick it up.
Okay, so a public agreement has been reached that upon reaching the revenue phase, Marcus Decimus is going to transfer 10 talents to the Erudite faction as a result of this trade. So there it is, the face down. So Marcus Decimus can now grab that card and take that up into his hand.
Well, that answers that question. Do you have something to offer?
Yep, there we go. So obviously they've talked about that, but they've made a public agreement to keep that binding, which is good for sureties, particularly in these unusual times that we're in. Any other cards that you wish to play or trade at this time, Mark Wedia?
No. Thank you.
Okay, you're good. For intrigue, let's go to the House of Incognita. Quintus Octavius, would you like to play or trade any cards at this point in time?
I would like to play a card.
Please, what would that be? Drag that down into your play area.
I will do. Oh,
all right, and you can flip that over. All right, and it is cool. Just before you move that, if I could kindly show everybody, just going to have a look. This is called, that's a concession. It's Egyptian grain, and it's worth a whopping 5 talents a turn. Now it's interesting to note the additional rule here. So you can take a voluntary double grain concession, assuming you take minus popularity with it, if there is a drought in effect. So he could, and there is droughts in effect right now, so he could choose during the revenue phase to double his intake. He would, of course, cop a -2 popularity, and there's additional popularity modifiers for additional droughts that are in effect right now, but he would be able to double his revenue should he so choose. If not, it's just a standard 5 talents a turn, but for a standard, that's still a pretty good piece of revenue there. So let me send that to the back for you. Good, you'll be able to drag that behind whatever particular senator you wish to place that behind now. Who are you looking to allocate that to?
Right?
Yeah, you can play multiple cards, that is correct. And a senator can hold multiple concessions, that is correct. I think I answered whatever the question could be there. There it goes. It looks like Flaminius is going to hold that concession. Very good. So, as I guess, as a victory for surviving the war. Any other cards you'd like to play at this point in time? House of Incognita.
Thank you.
You're all good. All right, let's go down to Fortuna's Despair. Any cards to play or trade at this point in time?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Let's go across to the House of Julii. Play or trade, House of Julii.
I'll be playing a card.
Okay, drop it in your play area. Let's have a squiz. And once you flip it over, we'll show everybody. All right, it's loading. Here it is. All right, I'm going to zoom in for everybody. This is the Land Commissioner card. It's worth 3 talents a turn. Can't be destroyed. Now, it return to the forum if owning senator is convicted, killed, or if no land bill is in effect. Now, technically, there is a land bill in effect right now. All right, but once we get to the point when the debt is settled, the land bill is removed, and therefore this concession has to go back to the forum.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. All right, so that card can only be played when there's a land bill in effect, and he's obviously well aware of that. So sounds like he'll be able to take the additional revenue for that, but then it'll disappear from his hands. So it almost sounds like you'll get the money and escape the corruption.
Well, it would be at the end of the forum phase, so technically during the next forum phase, another land bill could be raised.
Right, but he would have already lost the concession by that point.
Would he lose it?
Yeah. So once the land bill is no longer in effect, that concession disappears back to the forum. He can't hang on to it.
Is it, or no land bill is in effect at the end of the forum phase? I believe that only checks at the end of the forum phase.
Right, and so at the end of the forum phase, so he'll still escape the corruption because the corruption will go with it when the card is removed, and you can't bring in another land bill until the next Senate phase, and that land bill will be paid off in the revenue phase to come. So yeah, he'll lose that concession.
Okay.
It'll make sense when we get there. Oh, hang on. There's a typo. In fact, I'm glad you brought this up, Poached Trout. So maybe what I'm saying is potentially wrong. So I do recall seeing this correction, and I haven't fixed this card. I've fixed other cards, but not this one. So Poached Trout points out there's a typo on the Land Commission. It should be at the end of the Senate phase, not the end of the Forum phase.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense.
And that potentially makes more sense here. So, right, and this is pointed out on the Board Game Geeks website. So I'm glad you brought this up, and I'm surprised I haven't corrected this particular card yet. So it's on my to-do list. But I have corrected, there's about 4 other cards that have corrections, which I fixed since the corrections have come out. This one I haven't fixed yet. So thank you for bringing that up, Poached Trout. And what Marcus Decimus has sort of been saying is more applicable now. So so disregard what I've been saying, but noting that if there's no land bill in effect at the end of the Senate phase, it will go back to the Forum phase. I think we're sorted. Cool. That's good. Good. I'm glad. Thank you, Poached Trout. All right. Just any other cards you want to play at this point in time, House Julii?
No.
I'll just put your card to the back first. There we go. There you go. And Justin Marita, over to you, Marcus Decimus. Any cards you'd like to play or trade?
Not at this stage.
Okay, you're good. Okay, let's go up to Pre-Byzantium. Play or trade at this point in time?
I have a card I would wish to play, please.
Yeah, certainly. If I flip it over and we'll show everybody. It is, classic Tax Farmer number 4, worth 2 a turn. And, of course, it's susceptible to the Second Punic Wars. At return a curie if destroyed. Okay. Very good. Please assign away. I might have to move that to the back for you. I'll do that now. There we go.
No, yes, please. Thank you.
There we go. If there's a particular order of cards that you want, I can fix that. Here we go. I'll put Sicilian Grain to the back if you like. There you go. How's that? Is that better? If you want to put Tax Farmer first?
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Thanks. I'll fix it.
Okay.
No, that's good. Perfect.
All right. And I think that's everybody for Intrigue. Very good. Now, nobody has more than 5 cards in the hand right now. That's good. That hasn't been an issue for us. And nobody's in a state to declare a rebellion right now because there is no victorious commanders. All right, and that concludes the end of turn. We've got no conditions which will result in a victory or a failure right now, which is good. Let's do a mortality phase, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start that now. So, imminent war activation. We've got no imminent wars to talk about right now. War exhaustion. Increase the age of each war by 1. So, if I could ask Numerius Aurelius, if you could kindly add an age marker to both the Syrian War and the Second Macedonian War. They'll both become 2 years of age. That'll keep us on our toes, and that's the only wars we need to talk about right now. The first Illyrian doesn't get an age marker. It stays inactive for the time being. So it's just those 2 wars that will age up, and everybody else can now start the aging...
Sorry.
Yep.
Decimus, just up near the Macedonian War, can you please send the 2 to the front?
Certainly can. There we go. That's done. Now it's time for everyone to age their senators. Please be careful. You're making sure you're aging your senators correctly. Take your time. Perhaps if I could request Marcus Decimus to help Marca Wedia's faction out, if you could bring her the requisite tokens, please, so she doesn't have to travel too far.
Yep.
And assist her as well as your own aging. So remember, if you have a senator who's 0, they'll get a 1. If they have a 1, they'll get a 2. If they're a 7, they'll get an 8, etc., etc. You guys know how this works. So far, I haven't seen any issues in my latest checks. So you guys have been aging them well. So take an opportunity to age your senators. And while that's happening, we might run a quick ad break, 30 seconds for our non-subscribers.
Yep, so, all right, so you need an 8 and a 2. I'll go grab that for you, Marker.
Sit slowly aging all of our senators. Take your time.
All right, those chits should be near your senator's marker.
Okay, you'll be able to drag your tokens on their marker. All right, and we'll go through and just double check everybody's ages. So let's start with the Aphrodite faction. Let's double check. So Julius now goes to 7 years of age. Plateus now goes from 1 to 2, and Aelius now becomes 8 years of age. Let's go across to the House of Incognita. Manlius now reaches 7, is now an elder senator. Aemilius is now a 9. Claudius, 3. Flaminius is now 2 years old. 2 decades, perhaps. Down to Fortuna's Despair. Achilles is now 2. Papirius 2. Furious now reaches 7, elder senator. House of Julii, okay. Aurelius reaches grand old 9.
Just finishing off.
What's the problem, sorry?
Just finishing off.
Oh, you're just finishing off. Yep, okay. So a few elder senators there to look at. And Justia Marita. Yep, Quintius is now 1. Cornelius is 2. Valerius is going to 9. All right, so let's go through and do our aging roles. We'll do that in order, starting with the highest ranking available officer. So let's... who would you like to do first there, Marco? Would you like to do Aelius or Julius?
Let's start with Julius.
So, one of the things we have to bear in mind is we still have the bad omen in effect, and that affects all roles. So, what that means for us is if there's 7, you'd have to roll a 6. So, if I'm thinking about this correctly, if you roll a 5, that would be essentially be a 6, and therefore they would die of natural causes. That's the way I'm interpreting this rule right now. So you, in this case, for Julius, if you're going to do Julius first, you don't want to roll a 5 or a 6. Otherwise, he will succumb to natural causes and pass on. So just confirming, sorry, who would you like to do first?
I have to do them both, don't I? So
Yes, you will. Yep, you will have to do both. You just had the option of who gets to go first.
Okay, well, let's do Julius first. 2d6.
Let's do Julius first. 1. It's a 1d6, so don't roll a 5 or a 6.
That's actually... my odds aren't that amazing.
No, it's not. Yeah, and it only gets worse as you get older, right? So that's a 4. That's good. So he survives.
Excellent.
So
Okay,
Julius lives another day. So now we're going to do Aelius. Now, Aelius, again, because of the bad omens roll, right, we do not want to roll a 4, a 5, or a 6. Okay?
Oh, wow.
Yep. So because he's a little bit older, right? So it's an additional +1 for each year they're older than 7. So, but the bad omens makes it one additional worse.
This is not looking good for Aelius.
It's not looking good for Aelius. So you want to roll a 1 to 3 in a 1d6.
Wow.
And you get a 5. There we go. So, and even without the bad omens, that would have been a natural death anyway. Okay, for Aelius. So, we are now going to see Aelius pass on. So I'll just move those tokens to the side for the moment off his card, but you get to do the normal saving roll for him. So it's not an automatic save because he's not the faction leader, but in this case here, you still get to do a roll. There's no money on him, so the only thing we really need to think about is rolling less than 10. Okay, so on a 2d6, please roll less than 10.
Okay, I will try.
To keep him. And that's what you do. So Aelius will stay right where he is. There we go.
Excellent.
So if you'd like, you can update your faction votes and faction influence now. And that is you done for aging. All right. Let's go across to the House of Incognita. Let's see. We've got 2 senators requiring age rolls. Who would you like to do first? Quintus Octavius.
Let's go do our highest one. I have to roll a 1 or a 2.
All right. You have to roll a 1 or a 2 because he's 9 years of age. Let's see how you go on a 1d6.
Good luck.
He gone. He definitely gone.
He is definitely skipped off onto the horizon.
Failure.
Yes. So if you'd like to clear all his markers for me, he was pretty good. 1 popularity, 11 influence, and of course battle honors. While you're shuffling tokens, allow me just to move your medals down to the bottom there for display, because you'll keep those in your faction to show what an awesome faction you are, battle-wise. And of course, you also get the opportunity to do a roll as well. Now, we've got to remember that the bad omen affects this roll as well, the 2d6. So you really need to roll less than 9. Now, thankfully, Mark Coetti did that as well, but we need to take that into account, the bad omens roll. In fact, let's just double check. It doesn't mention persuasion specifically. I don't think it does. -1 penalties applied to every die or dice roll except for initiative and further rolls in the event table. Exception, +1 to all persuasion attempts. Oh, yeah, so that's worse. Yep. To that base number. Unless that's implying that persuasions are easier. Hang on, let's get that interpretation right. So let me bring this up for everybody.
Because you're always trying to roll below, so it's like +1 to your personal roll.
Yeah.
That's how I would interpret it.
If you are trying to get less than 10, you roll a 9. You in fact actually roll a 10, and so that makes it harder. So persuasion attempts are harder under a bad omen, which makes sense. So
Fantastic. So I need to roll an 8.
So you need to roll yes,
an 8 or lower.
An 8 or lower. See how you go.
We all know how this went last time, so.
Oh, that's fine. You're fine. So you get to keep Aurelius there. That's definitely low enough. So poacher trout highlights. All dice rolls are 1 worse except for initiatives. Yep. Cool. So that's Aurelius done. Let's do Manlius. So Manlius is age 7. So really you just need to avoid a 5 or a 6 on this roll. So a 1 to 4 to make sure he lives. Oh, and you do that as well.
Yeah, he's perfect.
He's good. So Manlius will stay as he is. Sorry, hang on. We're doing aging rolls, so that's fine. That's good. Good. I was losing my way there. Nobody else is requiring age rolls there. Okay, that's you done. Fortuna's Despair. Let's have a look at you. Do you have any old people here? Yeah, you do. You have Furious here. The current censor. Current influence of 10. A Prior Consul. So, again, because you're only age 7 and with bad omens, you just need to roll a 1 to 4 to keep him alive. Ooh, you roll a 5. Unlucky. Unlucky there. So, in this case here, we're going to see Furious pass on. So, if you could kindly clear all his tokens from his card, the Tax Farmer 2 will return to the forum. The bad omens causing the effect there. That's it. I'll put the sensor plaque in the sandpit for you, and I'll grab the purple token and pop him in the sandpit as well. Okay, and now we're going to do your 2d6 roll on Furious. Okay, so you want to roll a 1 to 8 on a 2d6 here. And that you do. So Furious will stay with you in the faction. He's not going anywhere. So I guess that's a positive to take away from that. So Furious, the younger, comes in to take the play. Okay, House of Julii, let's have a look at you. You've got a few here. 1, 2 to consider. Yep,
Aurelius.
2. You'd like to do Aurelius first. Now he's a 9. So as far as I remember, you're going to roll a 1 or a 2 to keep him in the game. On a 1d6. No, he's not going to make it. So in this case here, if you could clear the number 9 marker from his card, he unfortunately succumbs to old age.
He's done nothing except be the bloke with the best hair in the Senate.
Quite the we call that a Bob Ross perm. That's very good. All right, now let's see if you get to keep Aurelius. So you want to roll a 1 to 8 on Aurelius to see if he can stay in your faction. And that you do. Very good. So Aurelius will stay where he is. Okay, let's talk about Fulvius, a priest, age 7. So you need to roll a 1 to 4 to keep him in the game.
Oy.
That you do. He stays alive, so he'll stay right where he is. So obviously the power of the gods on his side as a priest, and there's no other senators to consider there for age rolls. Be sure if you've lost people this aging round to update your faction and vote tallies, noting if you've still got absent senators that their votes do not count to your faction votes, so make sure you're updating that now as well. Justia Marita, let's have a look at you. I think you've only got 1 senator, which is Valerius, to consider here. As is age 9, you need to roll a 1 or a 2 to keep him in the game on a 1d6. Ooh, and you get a 3. Unlucky there. So Valerius will move on to the land of the gods. If you'd like to clear his number 9 token from his card, and the harbour fees will go back to the forum for consideration in the next Senate phase. And then, of course, you get to do your 2d6 roll to see if you keep him. So roll a 1 to 8 on a 2d6. Oh, and you get a 9, unfortunate. So he is now going to go to the Curia to join Calpurnicus there. If you'd like to pop him into the Curia. And that's everyone for you. Good, okay. Pre-Byzantium, let's have a look at you. How are you going? I think you've got 1 Senator Fabius, current governor right now. It'd be ideal that you don't lose him. So right now you need to roll a 1 to 4 on a 1d6 to keep him alive. On a 1d6.
Oh.
Unlucky. Okay, so if you could kindly go and start clearing his tokens away. Both his concessions will go to the sandpit. The night tokens will go back. The away from Rome token will go back. You can pop his medal somewhere else in your faction area as a memento. I'll go
representing a church is very expensive on senators.
Yes, I'll clear the governor away here. I'll just move that 2 token out of the way.
Why did I agree?
It's been a tough gig for you, hasn't it? All right, and Fabius will. Some people just get all the luck, right? There we go. He can go up there. That's it. So you guys have lost a governor there, so he'll need to be a new governor will need to be reassigned in the next Senate phase. Now let's do a test to see if you get to keep Fabius in your faction. So it'll be a 2d6, and with bad omens, you need to roll a 1 to 8 to keep him in your faction. Or a 2d6. Yep, great. So you get to keep Fabius. So at least there's a little bit of a silver lining there. You get to hang on to Fabius there. So you won't lose yet another senator. So that's good. Hang on to him. All right. And that concludes all of the aging. Holy dooly, that was
brutal.
That was brutal. Very punishing. But there's a lot of old people there. Most of you got to hang on to your senators. Lots of concessions for assignment. Holy dooly. Look at that. There's lots to consider in the next Senate. That's mortality phase done. Let's now talk about revenue phase, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, there's no rebels to talk about, so let's talk about personal revenues. Now, you guys are pretty good at this. So a reminder, and we'll talk about governors in just a moment. So a reminder, and don't forget about your public deals, which we'll talk about in a minute as well, but let's just get the money first. 3 talents for your faction leaders, 1 talent for every other senator. Don't forget talents for each of your knights, and don't forget to take your concessions if you're eligible. Of course, if you've got like something like shipbuilding, then you obviously can't take that concession. You have to wait. The Pontifex Maximus has just done his role for his additional talents to his senator, which is good.
No, that's
not much, but
I clicked. No, I clicked. What's it called? Disable or whatever. Decline. What the hell?
You clicked
Dice going everywhere.
Doesn't it pop up?
Yeah, there's lots of
to draw, like to draw the line.
You've got to click
When you roll,
and
you draw a
drag.
line,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, click and
When
drag.
I clicked it. I tried to cancel it because I didn't want to do it.
Right. Well,
I just rolled it.
try.
Well, I'll take the 1, but
Okay.
For
How unusual.
senators that are away from Rome, do you still get to use their concessions?
Yes, absolutely. So senators that are still away from Rome still get to collect their concessions. Absolutely, no limitations there. Money can still go to and from those senators and their faction treasuries. That's certainly not a problem. And don't forget, governors. In just a moment, you'll get to consider whether you take provincial spoils of war. Well, I'll ask that question in just a moment. So go ahead and collect your talents otherwise. So, for example, Terentius will still get 1 talent. Cornelius will still get 1 talent, and you'll be able to move that around as you like. And we'll talk about provincial spoils in just a minute. So don't worry about those. But certainly do all your other calculations.
For marker and the benefit of the Senate of my open agreements, I pass over to marker of the erudite faction 12 talents.
Okay, good. So you've met that bargain. That's good.
Thank you.
That was only 2.
Oh, I've got two
Okay,
deals.
Yeah, he's got 2 deals.
Okay.
That was his other deal that he did for the card trade. So you guys can talk about your other deal in just a minute.
My 2 as well.
Just wait just a moment before you guys do that one. Let's finish getting all our revenue in first, and so everyone can consider all their revenue. So let's go to the governors now. Let's make sure this is done explicitly. So the governors get an option to take provincial spoils. based on the values that they see on their card, noting any debts have to be settled by either the governor of the choosing or if it'll be the state. Now, noting if they choose not to take provincial spoils, they get an additional +1, but there's bad omens, so it won't work out to be anything anyway. Also, so consider that in your decision making, the bad omens roll. In fact, in terms of the die roll for the Pontifex Maximus and his additional money, the bad omens would have deducted from that.
Oh,
So if you rolled a 1, you would have gotten a 0.
So just as a point of order, can I ask someone to roll a d6, right? And then it usually pops up to draw the line. Up the top it says like disable or cancel or something, right?
Draw the line.
Before you do you not have to draw a line before you roll a d6?
Not you can either just click or click and drag, I think.
Oh, mine always let me draw the line, right?
Yeah,
So
I get click and drag to roll the dice because I have.
yeah, but so does up the is that what disable does?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was like cancel the roll because I didn't want to roll yet. You know, like I was like disable, like stop the roll. I'm wondering now why I can't
that was it.
draw the roll anymore because every time I click it, it just automatically rolls it. So I must change it in the settings. Okay,
So if we're going on the 1d6 roll, which was a 1 result for your Pontifex Maximus additional income with the bad omens, that would have been a 0. So you wouldn't have got that additional talent.
Yeah, I've already fixed that.
Okay. So let's ask, who owns Terentius?
I do.
Would you like to take provincial spoils at this time, noting it'll result in a corruption?
Oh, is that it?
So just clarification: if you take the spoils,
Yeah.
and then you get a -1 on your they're trying to update the region. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So ask that question one more time.
To improve the province, he's talking about.
You're talking about developing the province, yep. So you'll get a +1 to develop your province if you don't take provincial spoils, but noting there's a bad omen, you won't get that benefit.
Oh, right. Okay, because you got, so yes, I'll take provincial spoils.
Okay, so you're going to roll a 1d6 -5 here.
So it's just a... -5. So with the bad omens, is going to make it -6.
Correct. So
right?
So if you correct.
I won't.
So all right, so you're choosing not to take provincial spoils. Good. All right, you're choosing not to take provincial spoils. So don't forget about your bad omens. That's good. All right, let's ask Cornelius. Will you be taking provincial spoils?
Yes.
Okay, 1d6 -1 because of the bad omen. Let's see how you go. 4, which
3.
becomes a 3. So you're going to get positive 3 talents into your personal treasury. All right. So now that everybody has accrued all the income, everybody's considered their knights, everybody's considered their concessions, including those away from Rome right now. Now you guys can come good on your public deal to transfer funds between each other if you'd like to do so.
So is it likely then on the other side of Sardinia it's got better odds when you flip them?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you develop provinces, they have better odds. That's correct.
Yeah.
So 100 bits there coming in from Sempronius Agricola, still coming with the cash during the revenue phase. That's awesome. Thank you, Sempronius Agricola. Gratias Tibiago. Well-timed bits.
I'm sending my 2 talents to Marco. I've just put them over there.
I've taken the wrong ones. I'm just going to swap these. I took the 10s instead of the 1s.
Good. I'm glad I've labelled them. That's good. Make sure you've taken the correct talents. Yes. Don't overpay yourselves.
Otherwise, I was about to give her 20.
Yeah, you're like, why have I got so much money? But yes, right. It's raining money on Marca Wedia right now. So everybody except for Quintus Octavius is owing money right now.
I think we had this discussion before. What marker were we going to use to be the corruption for governors?
We're just using a major marker on the governor back in Rome.
Right.
Noting, I'm going to actually go and develop some minor markers because it's only a minor corruption that the governor is eligible for, not a major. So you can either choose to put a major marker down or you can choose just to remember. For the most part, we're going to remember anyway. So I'll leave that up to you whether it helps you by putting a marker on, but noting it's only a minor corruption charge for taking provincial spoils.
I'll put a major marker on just so it helps remind everyone.
And we'll know. Yep. I mean, the away from Rome thing's pretty obvious as well. That helps out
Yeah,
to
exactly.
remind us. But that's on my to-do list. I'll come up with some. There is a minor corruption marker I can put out there. So
Is there a rule? Is there a rule on other players looking under the faction treasury?
That was my error. Sorry, I thought it was in my one. I suddenly
Sure,
wait.
sure is an error. Yeah, I get you.
When we've all logged off, I'll allow you to have a quick peek in mine. I was like, where's that coin gone?
Spy satellite in orbit over Flaminius at the moment.
Yes, please only look under your own faction treasuries. Now, of course, you are more than welcome to talk about, and even you can share, in fact, what is in your faction treasuries if you so choose, but you should so choose. Please respect the privacy of other people's faction treasuries, please.
Can I have another little symbol of my hand? I can put it over my treasury so I know I'm looking at my one.
Yeah, okay. Leave that with me as well. I'll put your symbols over each of your faction treasuries to make it really obvious as well. So I'm going to get the minor corruptions just so we can alert governors, and we're going to put the symbols over the faction treasuries just to make it really obvious as well. Okay, that's a good idea. I like that. Good. All right, so has everybody except Quintus Octavius now given money to Mark Aurelius' faction?
Yes, they have. Thank you very much.
All right, that's all sorted. Okay, so all the revenue is where it should be for all personal senators. Okay. Now, if you want to pop that money on the specific senator as well, or make it obvious at the very least there. So I think it was going to be Julius was going to sponsor some games.
How much was it for the games in total?
18, I believe.
18.
Yeah.
So if you want to put 18 talents, I think if that's what your aim is, to put that besides Julius's card, so we know it's actually in his personal treasury. So money does in fact need to either be on a personal treasury or in the faction treasury. Can't be floating. So everyone else I think is good. Yep, everyone else is looking good to me here. Yep, okay. And if you're planning to put money elsewhere, then make sure it just goes into a faction or a personal treasury. But you can put at least 18 according to your agreement onto Julius's card.
Yep.
Okay. I think we're good there. I'll let you finish that off, and we can talk about the next part. Okay, let's talk about province developments. So let's go up to... let's start with Terentius, because he's not corrupt right now. Now, there's still an opportunity here. So even though the Bad Omens role removes the benefit of not being corrupt, you could still develop this province with a roll of a 6. So if you'd like to roll a 1d6 and get a 6, the Bad Omens and the bonus cancel out. Oh, so close. So close. Normally that would be a development because the Bad Omens, that got rid of that. So unlucky there. Cornelius, it's no point rolling because he'd only have to roll a 6, and because that's a -1, it's a 7, and so that cancels out any potential option there, so we can't develop that province. I think we're all done in that regard. So let's now talk about state revenues. So perhaps our Quaestor has a pen and pad or a calculator ready, and we can start doing all the sums before we bother switching numbers on the faction treasury here. So start by a base number of 100 talents for Rome. That's the initial base income. And let's talk about contributions first. So let's start with the highest ranking available officer in the Aphrodite faction. Do you have any senators that wish to make any contributions to the state treasury at this point in time?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Across the House of Incognita, anybody making a donation to the state treasury, sir? Quintus Octavius, is he still awake? And donating to the state treasury?
You're on mute as well.
No, it's a head shake. Okay, not a problem. Down to Fortuna's. Yeah, you're right. Fortuna's Despair. Thankfully, I can see your head. Would you like to donate to the state treasury at this point in time?
Not today.
Not today. Cross to House of Julii. Any donations to the state treasury, sir?
No, not today.
Not today. Justia Marita, Marcus Decimus. Any donations to the state treasury, sir?
Not today.
Not today. Up to Pre-Byzantium. Any donations to the state treasury, sir?
Not today.
Not today. Okay, so no donations to the state treasury. You guys are all feeling that the state treasury will be good enough. Okay, let's talk about debts for the state. Now, somebody's already been doing some calculations in chat. Let's talk about the forces. -2 talents for each force. 16 forces times by 2 is equal to 32 upkeep, which includes both legions and fleets. So we're going to add 100 minus 32. It'll be -20 talents for every active and unprosecuted war. Now, we only have one unprosecuted war this time. Thankfully, despite the disaster, the Second Macedonian War remains prosecuted because you still have the requisite fleet strength in support. So you have to have a minimum of 5, which you do. So even though that wasn't a win, it still remains prosecuted. So therefore, only the Syrian War is the unprosecuted war. So that's -20 talents to that running total. Various talents for active land bills. So down there in the land bills table, we have a land bill number 1. So we're going to minus another 20 talents to pay for that land bill. And I'll ask Marcus Decimus to remove that land bill now and go pop it back in the appropriate token holding bin. So we've now paid our dues on the land bills, which is good. And now let's go back up to our governors and let's have a look and see what our governorships are going to bring in. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to get anything from Gallia Cisalpina because there is no governor, so you miss out on that one. But let's talk about Sardinia at Corsica. It has a state income of -1d6 -1, and we're going to see an additional -1 because of the bad omen roll. So, Terentius, could you please roll a 1d6, please? -5, -1, which is -6, -1, which is -7. So we're going to add -7 to the state treasury on our running total. Let's go across to Cornelius and Sicilia. It's a 2d6 -2. If Cornelius rolls a 2d6, which he does, it's a 5 -2, which is a 3 -1, which is a 2. So we're going to add +2 to our running tally. So that's slightly good.
This Sardinia is a bit barren.
So that's the governor state incomes all done there. So we are now good there for the moment. There's still some things we need to finish off in the revenue phase, but what's our running total there now?
37.
37, and we're going to add 37 to the already existing 49 in the state treasury, which gives us what?
Plus 49 is 86.
86. So if somebody would like to update the state treasury so it becomes 86.
Doing that.
It's going to be hard pressed to replace some of those lost legions.
Yes, it will. All right, now we're going to go back to our governors again. Lots to do for our governors. So I'm going to change my view back to the governors. Let's go back to Terentius first. So we're going to talk about local taxes. You currently have 5 in local taxes. Of course, this can be supplemented by personal treasury on Terentius back in Rome's card there. Does Terentius have any money on his card?
I don't think he does. Let me just have a quick check.
Sure.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. So, unfortunately, you don't have enough to pay for any provincial fleets in this case. So, there's no actions on you for local taxes. So, let's go to Cornelius. Now, local taxes is sitting at 30 here already, which is already good for 3 units. Does Cornelius have any money on his card?
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. Now, would you be looking to raise some provincial forces with that 30 in local tax that you have there?
I would.
What would you like to raise?
3 fleets.
3 fleets. Interesting combination. So I'm going to go up here to the fleets box. 1, 2, 3 provincial fleets. And I'm going to drag those down to your province for you. Kind of makes sense for an island to have a good fleet strength. So I'm going to bring those down here. There we go. You now have 3 provincial fleets adding to your value there. And no more to do on local taxes. Okay. Now that we've done the local taxes of our and our local forces there, if each of the governors could now grab a number 2 token and hide that over the center number 3 on your provincial cards up on the map. So you're going to reduce your term dials. In other words, that's what we're doing here. So each grab a number 2, a grey number 2, and pop that over that little center number 3 right in the bottom middle of your province cards, and that'll show you your maturity in term in governorships out there. Thanks to Sempronius Agricola, he's ducking off for the night. Wale to you, good sir. Thanks for stopping by again.
I just need the token raised above the province.
Yep, seen. Doing that now to front. There you go.
Thank you.
Just wait for Terentius to update his.
Yep, it's behind.
Yep, I'll fix that. Stand by. To front. All right, there you go. If you'd like to readjust that. All right. Now, unless there's any arguments on the floor, I believe we've concluded the revenue phase. I think we're good.
Yep.
Okay, that is the revenue phase completed. Let us now move on to the forum phase, and you guys will be pleased to hear we get to clear some events off the board. So, first of all, we're going to lose a drought, which is great, and we're going to lose the evil omens, which is even better. So I'm going to drag those out of the way. Sorry if it's coming through your faction right now. It'll be gone in just a moment. There we go, off into the darkness where you guys can't see those anymore. Hopefully you don't replace them. That's the thing here. Don't draw any bad events, you guys.
Join the blackmail.
Okay. Let's go into the forum phase. We've done the passage of time. We're going to do the initiative step, starting with Marca Wedia of the Erudite faction is the highest ranking available officer. If you could kindly roll, please, 2d6, and let's see if you get a 7 or not. Rolling a 2d6 to see what you might get.
Oh, am I able to pay for a night, though?
Let's roll a 2d6 first.
Oh, yep. There we go.
And you get a 7. So we're going to start with an event. Wow. All right, so I'm going to change view down to the events table. Let me get down there first. Go to the appropriate box section on our board here. Population, forum, random events table. Here we go. I'm going to zoom in for me and everybody at home. We're still looking at the Early Republic column because we're still in the Early Republic. We are now we note there was no bad omens to talk about here anyway, and it didn't apply to this roll anyway, but we're now going to roll a clean 3d6, please, Marca Guardia, and see what sort of event we get. 3d6, please. You roll a 9, which is a drought. The drought comes back. So it looks like we don't shake the drought.
At least it's not evil omens.
At least it's not evil omens. I tell you what, if that came out, I just would have felt so sad. Not only for the Pontifex Maximus, but for the Senate. Hey, but there's still a chance, right? There's still plenty more opportunities for events. So I'm going to bring that drought event token right back to where it was here in the forum to remind us and keep us warm. Okay, back to you, Marca Wedia. Would you like to make a persuasion attempt at this stage?
No, I would not.
Not a problem. Okay, would you like to roll for or pressure a knight?
Yes, please.
Who will be rolling for a knight today?
Alias.
Alias will be rolling for a knight. Will he be adding any money to the cause?
Yes, 5.
What would you? It's going to be an automatic, and there are no bad omens to talk about here. Please go ahead and bank that 5 talents, and while you're over there, grab yourself a number 1 knight token.
Automatic? Oh yeah, because no bad omens.
Correct. That's it. No bad omens. That's right. Which is awesome. So get it while the going is good. Yes, grab yourself a number 1 knight token for Alias. Now, while you're also doing that in the background, I imagine you'll be sponsoring some games. Will you be changing faction leader today?
No, I will not.
All right, so I'll stay with Plateus. And you will be sponsoring some games by the sounds of things. So
Yes.
if you'd like to maybe drag your money to just under in the blank area in your play area first before you drag it away. That might make it a bit cleaner. Just do if you want to do a count, just double check there is in fact the 18 there. And then maybe perhaps Marcus Decimus or maybe Nemurius Aurelius might help you bank all that on your behalf, and we'll bring you back the appropriate level of popularity for what is it, the gala? Is that what the 18 is? 18 talents?
Gladiator Gala.
Gladiator Gala.
Yep.
All right, so you're going to update that popularity. What's that, +3 popularity?
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. That'll be a total of 5. I guess we're looking for another 5 token for Julius now. So thanks for helping out there, team. That's much appreciated. And that is your initiative done. Now, let's decrease the unrest level. So if somebody wants to decrease the unrest level by the requisite amount, please. Which I think is, what, 3?
Mm-hmm. 7, 2, 6, 2, 3. I'm doing that now.
Cool, thank you. All right, let's move on while that's happening. Okay, across to the House of Incognita. Let's do your initiative. 2d6, please.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Yep, not a problem. 5, 6, 7. Wow, you guys love a challenge, don't you? Well, hopefully it's a good event. So let's go down to the Events table again. Get ourselves ready. It'll be a clean 3d6 again. Let's not bring the bad omens back. Let's have something else, please. 3d6 when you're ready. He rolls a 13, which is going to be Allied Enthusiasm.
Lucky.
Yeah,
That's better.
oddly enough, it is. Allied Enthusiasm is good. And I think you guys have had this one before.
Yes,
A couple of times.
So I'm going to go back to the sandpit and I'm going to pop it out there in the middle for you. Just give me a moment. That's a good event. That's an event. That's all right.
That's the talents, if I remember correctly.
It might be. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Let me bring up the event card deck.
I believe that was the New Alliance one.
Choose. Let's see. New Alliance. I'm going to try and.
Let's
to.
Let's find out.
No, not that one. Oh, it's Allied Enthusiasm. That's the one it's called, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Allied Enthusiasm.
Let's see how quickly I can find it. No, that's not the card I'm looking for. What's this one? No, that's Refuge. What's this one? That's the only disadvantage is like you can't get a nice, clean, large view of cards in a deck like this on the Roll20 interface.
Allied Enthusiasm?
Yeah. What's the symbol on the card?
Do you mean to drag it out?
Oh, if you can see it in the deck and I haven't, please drag it out. Yep, you've probably found it. Yeah, please drag it out. Because I've allowed you guys to see that deck. There's nothing to hide in there. So yeah, if you found it, please drag it out. Pop it in the sandpit for us.
In the sandpit.
Great, you've done well. State receives 50 in the revenue phase. Next revenue phase, I'll bring that up for everyone to see. There you go. So yeah, Poach Trout pointed out. I think that's like your third Allied Enthusiasm that you guys have received in this game, which is phenomenal. Yeah, good work, good draw there. Kudos to you for dragging that out. Okay, let's finish your initiative there. Will you be making a persuasion attempt today?
No, I will not.
Not today. Would you like to roll or pressure for a knight?
I will roll for a knight.
Who will be doing that today?
One. Flaminius will be donating 1.
Okay, you need to get me a 5 or a 6 on a 1d6 to get Flaminius with a 1 talent donation. So he's banked that. Very good. Oh, and you get it. Perfect. So please go grab yourself an additional. Oh, there you go. Number 1 knight for Flaminius there. That's good. Good roll. Any faction leader change for you today, sir?
No, I will not.
Any sponsoring of games?
Yes, I will be.
Certainly. How much are you spending?
18.
You're spending 18. Holy dooly. There we go. So that'll be a 3 popularity and -3 to the unrest level. So I'll allow you to update.
Well done.
Update your popularity, and then perhaps Numerius Aurelius, if you'd like to clear the final 3 unrest from the state unrest level.
Can
What a
do.
team player.
It's almost like if I planned this from the start.
Hang on. Let's hold the horses a little bit. So currently Flaminius is away from Rome, and I'm pretty sure he may not be able to roll for a knight.
Well, I'll take my money back.
Yeah, if you want to pick another senator, you won't be able to spend any money. Yeah, perhaps if Marcus Decimus, if you want to check in your rule book, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. In order to roll for a knight, the senator has to be in Rome.
Let's have a look.
Or if somebody got a PDF open, do a Control F on knights. But I remember this has come up before in previous games. The senator has to be in Rome to be eligible to roll for a knight. And I think while we're there, we're going to double check on the sponsoring of games, but I think that one should be okay. We'll double check. I'll do the same thing on this end.
Knights. A player may attempt to attract 1 knight per initiative to one of his aligned senators in Rome.
In Rome. Okay, so let's deal with that one first. If you want to look up sponsoring games to see if that's also has to be in Rome as well.
Sponsoring games allows a senator to increase his popularity while lowering the unrest level of the populace. The senator pays the cost of the games from which he wishes to sponsor from his personal treasury. Adjust the population to reduce the unrest.
Yeah.
The senator need not be in Rome to sponsor
Perfect.
games.
All right. So it's just the knight we need to worry about here. So make sure you get your 1 talent back, which you've got. Who would like to roll for the knight today?
Amelius.
Amelius, go ahead and roll the 1d6 for Amelius and grab another 6. Can you roll another 6? Oh, he does.
Hey.
Good job. Go grab a knight for Amelius. Well done. And Oh, hang on. I just jumped out of my game. I hit the back button. I hate this Logitech mouse. I really do. I just jumped out of the game.
Heresy.
So, yeah, I know. Terrible. So everybody at home just got to see the loading screen. So I'm gonna load back in. But yeah, it's good. So the night's good. And your sponsored games. Here we go. We're all coming back in. You have to bear with me while we load. Let's go. There's no reason to wait for me. Let's go. I think we need to finish your section. You're not changing your faction leader? No, you've already done that. All right, let's go down to Marcus Tiberius Cornelius. There we go. That's the name I was looking for. Let's go ahead and roll your 2d6. See how you go.
10.
And there we go. There's a roll that's out. And it's a 10. There we go. So you actually get to draw a card today. So bear with me in a moment while I get the decks open. So clear. There we go. Everything's loading back in for me a bit. That's better. Okay. So I'm going to change my view and update that. There we go. All my sounds are catching up. Good. Okay. Okay. So usual deal. I'm going to reveal the Early Republic deck to you. Hover over the deck. Make sure you don't click on it. Hover. You'll see the little window pop up. Press the draw button and put a number 1 in the box, and then that'll go into your hand. I'm just going to
get to draw a card.
No, when you draw an event, you don't get to draw a card.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so that's one of the unfortunate things about rolling a 7.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, you miss out, which is unlucky. Okay, I'm now fixed again for my view. Okay, let's go reveal the Early Republic deck. Okay, Tiberius Cornelius, the deck is revealed to you. If you'd like to draw a card into your hand, please.
If you get the second Punic War, we're kicking you out of Rome.
There we go. He's done it. He's got the card in his hand. Is that a red text or a black text, sir?
It's black text.
Black text. Okay, if you'd like to plop that in the sandpit for us, and let's have a squiz.
Might be getting kicked out of Rome.
And flip it over. Right-click flip for us when you're ready. And I'll bring this up for everyone to have a squiz at. It is...
I called it.
There we go. Second Punic War.
He's getting kicked out of Rome.
It was coming sooner rather than later. And you can see it's got an armaments icon anyway, so it was always going to be active. And, of course, the enemy leader is already waiting for it, so that's going to go straight to the active forces box for us. I'll drag that up there now. Zoom out a little bit for my sake. There we go. This is going to pass through pre-Byzantium. Apologies. You're going to have Hannibal march through your forces here. March, 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 march. All right. Pop that up in there. And,
so would we wait till next forum phase for that effect to work, or?
When you say effect, what do you mean?
If active at roll.
So there is actually a step in the forum phase where that occurs, and because it is there, you will see it this turn. So yes, you will see effects on concessions if that's what you're referring to.
Yep.
All right, let's finish off Fortuna's Despair's initiative there. Would you like to persuade anybody today? Did I lose Tiberius Cornelius, or is he on mute?
Sorry.
There is. Any persuasions today for you?
No.
Cool. Would you like to roll a pressure a knight today?
Yeah, I would like to roll for a knight.
And who's doing that today?
Talents.
5 talents from Furious. Okay, very good. That's an auto. So go ahead and bank those 5 talents for us and grab yourself a number 1 knight while you're there. And while you're doing that, will you be changing faction leader today?
No.
And I'm assuming you're not sponsoring any games?
I'm not.
Cool. All right, that's your initiative done. House of Julii. Let's do you now. Initiative. Let's start off by doing a 2d6. Let's see what you get. Will there be another event? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. 3 events in one turn. This is phenomenal. You guys are really trying to draw out this Early Republic, aren't you?
Bad omens.
I'm going to zoom in on the random events table again. Try not to get anything negative. When you're ready, 3d6 please, and let's see what you get. A 6.
Oh, that's scary. 6. I would hate to be the Pontius Maximus right now.
Evil omen.
I missed it. What did we roll?
Evil omens. The Pontius Maximus again.
What are you guys doing?
It's a ball game, isn't it?
I'm glad I'm not that guy right now.
I was over minusing that that roll, -1 to everything, you know, and it. I'm glad I didn't put it back in the deck.
Oh, good thing you didn't.
Oh man! All right, let me drag the card back first, and then we'll do all the hurt for the Pontifex Maximus.
Now, guys, I'm sure the Pontifex Maximus is ready to deal with this.
Yes, he would have learned his lessons from last time. Dear. So now I'll bring the card up for everyone's view, but we really need to look at the advanced section in the rules.
I protested even having this happen to me.
But you voted for it. You voted for it, didn't you? In the end, yeah. I think you voted for the proposal.
I was only 2 votes. So
now you see there's penalties there, but of course the Pontifex Maximus wears this. So let's go over to pre-Byzantium. Let's discuss. So there is. I'm going to bring the cheat sheet and the rules up in front of me as well. Scrolling down through the advanced rules here, and across to the Pontifex Maximus component, which is the first element in the advanced rules here. And you can see Evil Omens. So when the Evil Omens card is drawn, the Pontifex Maximus must pay the 20 talent cost. Now, the Pontifex Maximus doesn't have any money, so that gets paid to the faction. It's got to come from the faction treasury. Now, there is some influence and popularity losses. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's just do the money first. Now, if he is unable to pay the full Evil Omens cost, the difference plus a 10 talent fine is levied on the faction treasury. So, what have you got? 2 talents?
I've got 2 talents.
All right, so you're going to go bank those 2 talents for us.
Was lost last turn.
Yeah, so pop those 2 talents in the bank for us. Now the state will have to pay the difference of 18 talents. They don't need to pay the fine. 10. They just need to pay. So why? Perhaps if you want to update the state treasury minus 18 from the state treasury as well.
How do we manage to pull the exact same?
If you want to strip yourself of your Pontifex Maximus office and pop that back in the sandpit for us. And you'll lose your 5 influence that you had there.
So we'll give it back to you next round.
No, please.
Just ask, how many votes do you have right now?
Please, Jupiter, don't. I have 4 votes.
He's improved.
I have, actually, since Fabius died, I got my votes back.
All right, and if you'd like to grab yourself a major marker while you're there as well, because you're open for a prosecution.
Even better.
Please don't prosecute him.
That needs to the universe is.
What a
It's
nasty
like
finish that
being
would
a
be.
man when he's like
Mars is trying to come back. Mars wants to come back as the main religion.
Okay, so I'll read this out to you. If he's unable to pay the full Evil Omens cost, the difference plus the 10 talent fine is levied in the faction treasury. We've dealt with that. If the faction treasury was insufficient, the money is the treasury lost the faction leader. And so the faction leader may also be the subject of a major prosecution during the following Senate phase as well, in addition to any regular prosecutions the censor may wish to conduct. So grab him. He's already the faction leader, so that doesn't change. I think it was the same as last time. Boy, oh boy. And now, of course, we have the -1 roll to every other roll that happens from now except for initiative and event rolls. I think we've dealt with everything there. Golly, golly, gosh. That's dreadful. Okay, let's go back to the House of Julii and let's finish this off. Any persuasion attempts for you today, sir?
Yes.
Oh, okay, very good. First of all, who's doing the persuading today?
Cato the Elder.
Cato the Elder is going to be doing the persuading, and who is going to be the target?
Well, the House of Julii, I've heard rumours that Aemilius of the House of Incognita is horrified at their underhanded attempts at assassinations, and we would like to ask if he'd like to come over and join a much more stable.
He says
faction.
no.
All right, so let's do our usual thing and run the numbers. So we're looking at the back of our cheat sheet here under persuasion attempts. So first of all, we asked the question of Cato the Elder. What is his oratory?
It is 6.
It is 6. What is his influence?
14.
14. So that's currently a running total of 20. Now, before we ask any more questions of you, let's go across to Aemilius, the subject of the persuasion attempt here, and let's run some numbers on him. So first of all, what is his loyalty rating?
8.
Very good. He is aligned. He gets an additional +7. He has no money on his persons right now. So that's currently at a 15 over there right now. So 20 minus 15 is currently a base number of 5, noting you need to roll less than that plus minus 1 additional 1 because of the bad omen. So you're aware of that. Now let's go back to the Cato the Elder. Will he be looking to make any bribes today?
Yes, he will.
How much will you be bribing?
5.
He'll be bribing 5. Okay, so there's currently an additional 5 being added there to increase the odds. So we're now going to go around the room to see if there's going to be any counter bribes, and this must come from faction treasuries. Let's go across to Justia Marita. Will you be counter bribing today? Marcus Decimos, can you hear us? Over.
Yes, sir.
Are you getting any no counter bribes?
No counter bribes.
Okay, let's go up to Prebizenium. We know the state of your faction treasury, so I'm just going to move on from you.
Please do.
Marta Coedia, any counter bribes from you?
Oh, like to go against it to stop the...
Yeah, to make the persuasion attempt more difficult.
No, I have...
No, thank you. Let's go across the House of Incognita. Any counter bribes from your faction treasury? What was that number?
7.
7. You're going to add 7 to that. So currently we're going to add a -2 to that base number roll. So pop that onto Aurelius's card, please, if you will.
Will do.
And can I have that 5 talents that Cato is donating? Put that on Aurelius's card as well, please. Let's go, while that's happening, if we go down to Fortuna's Despair, any counter bribes from you, good sir?
No.
Okay. So let's
I put the 5 on...
Please put the 5 on Aurelius's card up in the House of Incognita. That is correct. All right. So I'm going to come back to the House of Julii here. So 5 minus the 2 and the change of numbers there. So you're currently looking at a base number of 3. Would you like to make any more bribes from Cato the Elder?
Yes. Oh, so can it come from...
Has to come from his personal treasury.
Oh, not from the...
No, it has to come from his personal treasury.
Okay, no.
No, okay, not a problem. So no other bribes there. So you have to roll less than a 3 plus the bad omens, less than a 2. So you need to roll a 1 on a 2d6. Can you do that?
I was hoping to be able to take it from my faction treasury.
Unfortunately not. It has to come, the bribes have to come from a personal treasury. Yeah, no.
Nope.
Yeah, unfortunately that has failed there. So that money is now going to stay on Aurelius's card. Okay, so all that money will now stay on Aurelius.
Money.
Right,
all right.
Richer.
So that, no persuasion attempts there. Let's continue on with your initiative there, House of Julii. Holding.
Yep. No, it's okay. It's all right, Karen.
Yep. All right, you had a question?
No, it's all right.
All right, cool. Will you like to roll for a night or pressure nights today?
You can do pressure night and roll for a night, can't you?
You can pick one or the other. You can't do both. Hang on.
Oh, really? No, I think you can.
If we could just double check that rule, because I think this was an update in actually one of the Living Rules editions. It could be an and. I just want to double check this and make sure nobody's disadvantaged.
No, you're right. Instead of rolling to attract a knight, a player may opt to pressure.
It's an or, not an and. Okay, all right. So if it is an or, then which one would you like to do?
So I'm going to pressure Fulvius.
Fulvius's knight, so he has 1 knight. So you're going to roll a 1d6 minus 1 to see how many talents, and of course you'll lose that knight in the process. So when you're ready, go ahead and roll a 1d6. You get a 6 minus 1, so you've got 5 talents. There you go. That's not bad. That's pretty good. So grab ahead 5 talents to add to Fulvius's personal treasury there.
Yep.
That bad omens playing the usual role. Will you be changing faction leader today?
No.
All right. Right. And finally, any sponsoring of games for you?
No.
Nope. All right. That's good. Your initiative is done. Let's go across to Justia Marita. Please, no more events, if you can help it. 2d6, please, good sir, when you're ready.
It's the final.
He gets an 11. So we're actually going to draw from the Early Republic deck. Usual deal, don't click the deck, just hover. And you should know the deal from there. Early Republic deck is now showing. Do your thing.
And here comes a war.
And he's got it. I'll hide the deck again. Is it red text or black text?
Red text.
Good. Please hang on to that. You'll keep that secret for yourself right now. Would you like to make any persuasion attempts today?
No persuasion attempts, thank you.
And would you like to roll for a night or pressure nights?
I would like to roll for a night.
Quinticus is the only option there. So is he spending any money for this?
Yes, he'll be spending 6 talents.
I think you only need to spend. He will need to spend 6 to make it automatic. So good, you've planned for that with the bad omen. So yes, that is automatic. Then go ahead and grab yourself a number 1 knight token to add to Quinticus's card for the 6 talents there. We'll be changing faction leader today.
No, I will not.
Any games of sponsorship?
No, thank you.
Sponsoring of games, rather? No, nothing there. All right, let's go up to Pre-Byzantium. And I think this is the final one, right? So let's go ahead and roll that 2d6 and see what you get when you're ready.
Oh, God.
Wow. I have never seen, I don't think I've seen so many event draws in one forum phase. This is amazing. You guys just love to gamble.
And another evil omens.
That gets punishing. You don't want to draw a second evil
That
omens.
would be like a manpower shortage, right? So
It'll be an everything shortage, surely. Okay, 3d6. There is no effects of the evil omens roll. It's just a raw 3d6 here. Let's see how you go.
Get a 17. That's
13.
allied enthusiasm
13.
again.
Wow. Allied enthusiasm again. So,
So plus 100.
I think that's the case, isn't it? If whoever finds the card first, drag it out. I think if you're already looking for it, Quintus Octavius, if you can drag it out, it's the additional.
I can't see the deck right now.
Oh, okay. Now there's actually a card called additional allied enthusiasm, so it's not the same card you want.
Let me.
There you go. So whoever can find it first and drag
Allied
it out
enthusiasm.
should have a dark.
Extreme allied enthusiasm.
Yeah, drag
plus
that out.
75.
Drag that out. Yeah, there you go. Drag that out.
And that's on top of the.
Correct. It'll be on top of your 50.
Damn.
Yeah,
hang on.
extreme.
So we've got to remember that there's only one event per deck because I have separated this card. So I think what happens is in reality you flip the card over, so it'll be 75 instead of 50. So it's not accumulative. It's just going to be 75 talents now. So if you want to drag that card out regardless and put it in the sandpit for us, and maybe pop it over the top of the allied enthusiasm there.
Couldn't we decide it's cumulative?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? I'll think it over, but no, I don't think that's the intent. How'd you go? Did you get it out?
I don't see the deck.
Oh, the deck's hidden again. Hang on. Event deck. There it is. It's out. Sorry, I thought you had it.
No, I was looking at the physical card.
That's right, you were too. Let's see if I can find it first. Here we go. I'm looking for there it is. Found it. Don't disregard everybody. I got it.
All right, good.
There we go. Extreme allied enthusiasm. So if you draw any more events, they have no effect. But you'll get 75 income now as opposed to the 50. So that's not bad.
We should be able to just keep piling up.
Wouldn't that be lovely? Okay, so pre-Byzantium, let's finish your initiative there. No cards for you. Are you going to make any persuasion attempts today?
Nope.
Any knights rolls for you?
Nope.
And I think with the bad omens, it's not worth it. Faction leader change?
Nope.
And sponsoring games? Nope.
Nope.
Alrighty, so let's put Rome in order. Everybody holding a major office right now, which is a purple token, you need to bung a major office marker on your senator, please. So it appears Julius has already got one. Maybe that didn't clear from last time.
I have a question about mine.
Yeah.
Would I get one or not? Because I'm technically Proconsul now.
Yeah, Proconsul is a major office, so yes, you will get one. So yep, you grab yourself a major marker. Who else gets one? There's no censor to talk of. It's going to be pretty slim pickings for major prosecutions, I think. It's just going to be Julius, and Flaminius. The only ones getting major markers this round. Everyone else died. Okay, guess what? With Second Punic War or Gladiator Slave Revolts, the highest ranking available officer needs to roll to destroy tax farmers. So HRA needs to roll 1d6 for every senator, concession, or enemy leader. So first of all, let's do the farm destruction. So who's got a tax farmer concession?
Me.
I have one.
Let's start with you. So let's start with Tax Farmer 3. So as it reads there, on a 1d6 as a result of Punic Wars, it will get destroyed. So noting here, It's a 1d6.
I believe it's just one roll.
Yeah.
It's on a certain number.
So, yeah, it's not being specific to the number.
Mine one's tax farmer 5 and it says 5, so I'm assuming whatever number your
it says on a 3. Yeah, so it is being specific here. So the bad omens, I don't think the bad omens doesn't play an effect here. You either get the number or you don't. Because it's a probability of roll. The bad omens can't really apply here. So let's assume that it doesn't. So go ahead and roll that.
Bank.
What's that? Sorry.
I want to make bank. Don't roll a 5.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a 1d6, please, Marta Guedia. We'll see if Tax Farmer 3 survives. Just don't roll a 3.
1d6.
5. So you'll keep Tax Farmer 3. The Carthaginians don't touch that one. Let's go across to Flaminius. We're now going to roll for Tax Farmer 5 here. Go ahead and roll your 1d6 there. And you get a 3.
Do you roll for each one?
Well, hang on. Good question, because it could be one that could affect any one of the tax farmers, right?
Oh, it better not.
Because that seems to make the most sense, Gorius. Why wouldn't you just say on a 6 on all of them? Why would you have a specific individual number for each of the 6 different
it's
ones?
essentially it's a one roll, but you got to roll for both the enemy leader and the war itself. So what was the first roll we got? It was a 5. So tax farmer 5 gets destroyed. So
and tax farmer 3.
And tax farmer 3 gets destroyed. So those two concessions need to go back to the Curia.
So I lose my tax farmer.
You do.
Oh.
So they both go to the Curia, not the Forum, the Curia, because they're destroyed right now. So they're going to sit next to the senators currently in the Curia. But you get an opportunity to bring them right back nearly straight away. We'll do that in just a moment.
Oh,
thanks to Poached Trout for clarifying. That's better. I can update my notes in the cheat sheet, but we've done the right thing there. That's good. All right. So I got Tax Farmer 5. Where's Tax Farmer 3?
Where do you want me to put it? Sorry.
It's all right. I can grab it for you. You got to travel down to the Curia. I'll grab it here for you. I can see it. That's it. Okay. Perfect. It's now in the destroyed concessions box. All right, now we're going to go back to the highest ranking available officer, for you, Mark Guedia. We're going to have an opportunity to try and revive senators and concessions and put them back in the forum for consideration. Now, normally it'd be a 5 or a 6 to revive them, but with the bad omens, you've got to get a 6. Let's start one at a time. Roll a 1d6. Let's see if we can revive Aurelius. Nope. Normally that would be a revival, but the bad omens has limited us there. Let's do now Copernicus's roll. Another 1d6, please. Nope, he stays dead. Let's do tax farmers now. Let's start with tax farmer 5. It'll be a 6. Have to get it back. So let's start with tax farmer 5.
You better get a 6.
No, unfortunately not. And let's do tax farmer 3. Roll a 1d6 and need to get a 6.
Disqualified.
Lots of 5s. There would have been lots of revivals there if it wouldn't have for that bad omen. Unlucky. Okay, everybody, please go ahead and update your faction vote tallies and your faction influence tallies, please. Noting if you've got senators away from Rome, you do not count their knights or oratory towards your faction votes, so you'll need to limit those. So everybody take an opportunity now to update your tallies. And then if you're feeling good enough, update the overall vote tally tracker and the influence tally tracker as well. We'll take an opportunity for you guys to do that. While we're doing that...
Knights do anything to influence? They don't, right?
What's that, sorry?
Knights don't do anything to influence,
Knights don't do anything to influence, only your influence adds to influence. That is correct. We'll run an ad break for those not subbed right now while we're waiting for everybody to update. Quick 30-second ad break while you guys update tallies and trackers. Now, noting we have hit the 11 p.m. local time point here, do you guys want to push on to our normal quitting point with the election of the consuls, or would you like to finish here before the population phase?
Yeah, I need to finish up shortly.
So once you guys have finished updating your tally trackers, let's call it a day there. It's a nice clean place to finish just before the population phase. Noting we are getting a bit on in the night, and I don't want to keep you for too long. Right, are there any questions from our senators before we call a conclusion for the evening?
Just if you got a senator away from Rome,
Yep.
Their influence, do you still count their influence?
Yes, please still count their influence. Yep, it's only faction votes that are affected if senators are away from Rome. Yep, but their influence will still certainly count.
There's an A in the A in the vote tally for away as well.
A stands for available. So
available
will always be less than total or equal to total. But considering you have governors, available will actually be less than total.
Yeah.
Does the popularity change influence or votes at all?
Popularity has no effect on votes or influence. Cool. All right, well, we might wrap it up there, ladies and gents. If you're in chat, bear with us for a moment. We'll take a brief transition. I'll dismiss my senators in the background, and I'll come back for my usual end of session debrief and question time and see how we go. So thanks very much to our senators for joining us again. We'll say Walete to all of our senators, and we'll see you again in a week's time, next Monday, ready for and to continue on with the population phase. So looking forward to that. All right, everybody else in chat, don't go away. We'll be back. Okay, we are back, ready for our debrief and end of session there. What do you say about that session? Unlucky is a word I would use. Let's start with the war they tried to take on there. That was the Second Macedonian War. They certainly had the strength in the numbers. However, they hit the disaster. And that wasn't too bad. Philip V did make it slightly more difficult, but I think they actually rolled the 13 on the war card itself. They were not in a position to use a commander who had the cancelling effects. The one who was eligible, one of the ex-dictators actually, was too old to travel out of Rome. So that was unfortunate. But with the Field Consul that they had under Flaminius, they were unlucky. Heavy casualties there. Lots of loss. So the Second Macedonian War remains outstanding for a war they need to prosecute. Yeah, that was unlucky. But then, of course, we get to the forum phase. We saw not only the drought event come back into play, that's minor, but the bad omens event. Again, for a second time with the bad omens event. And what a glutton for punishment. Junius, or the descendant of the original Pontifex Maximus, cops the hit again. Faction treasury wiped out, and then of course the state treasury also takes the hit of the difference, which was another 18 talents. Cannot catch a break, and the Senate keeps handing him back the Pontifex Maximus role. But what I found surprising was, yes, I only had 2 votes there, but he still voted for the proposal after that heavy loss. So it's just, maybe you think, with one bad omens drawn, you wouldn't see it again a second time. But they did. It come back. Now, I think there were some positives there. They drew a lot of allied enthusiasm there, which is amazing. These guys keep drawing that. There seems to be like 3 events these guys keep drawing. So the treasury right now, based on what you guys are asking, is at 68 talents. So that's after all the bad omens debt. 68 talents. Not a big amount. They have to be really careful here. Yeah, that's right. And the allied enthusiasms don't stack. So it's only 75 talents they will receive in the next revenue phase. They've got the evil omens die rolls hanging over their head again, and they've got the drought to consider. There's going to be 2 drought effects when they update their unrest level. Thankfully, with a whole bunch of game sponsorship, their state unrest level is now at 0, which is great. That's at least one thing in their favour. They'll get 2 to that. Now, the popularity of the highest ranking available officer right now, which is Julius, as Rome Consul's 5. Bad omen roll, so that'll be a total of 3 negative, so there'll be a positive 2. So a good 3d6 roll plus 2, that hopefully is going to be good, assuming the HRA rolls high. Now, I think Poach Trout, you wanted to ask a question about aging senators. So while you're there and while we're doing a debrief, perhaps if you want to consider what your question about aging senators was, be curious to hear what your question is. Certainly one of the things I've looked up is, one of the things that was in doubt was perhaps about whether senators in the Curia age. Now, I think I read, at the moment, I've decided that senators in the Curia don't age. I guess it doesn't make sense to them for the age. Now, if they're in the Forum, however, I think the rule stipulates that they should age, but I've stated that they won't, and they will remain fresh as a daisy in the Forum. But I think in future games, when you look at the rules, in the Avalon Hill aging rules section, those senators in the forum will in fact age, whilst we haven't been doing that so far, and we'll continue to maintain that for the time being. Yeah, there we go. So droughts, evil omens, a low treasury, about 68 talents right now, good unrest level, and some extreme allied enthusiasm for some talents later on. Plenty of concessions for them to sign in the next Senate phase, and unfortunately the war, and of course, hey, how could we miss talking about the Second Punic War that they just drew with the Hannibal +7? That's amazing. So Poached Trout adds his question about the aging senators. He goes, do you like it? Seems to result in more deaths, but does give players some ability to affect the outcome. So, yeah, I added the aging senators rule in as the optional rule into this game. I didn't like the fact, particularly if you were playing extended campaign as we are, so moving from early to the middle and hopefully even the late Republic, it makes it very easy for, obviously, senators to build up their influence and you get close to that consul for life election. Now, that can still happen in this game, depending if things go the right way. It changes the dynamics a little bit. Now, in the mortality phase, right, it's normally a random death chit draw and a random senator will die. What I like about the aging senators rule is it removes some of the randomness, adds a little bit of predictability, but then there's some strategy decisions that need to be made. And primarily that comes around the voluntary retirement of senators. So those senators that are getting that minimum 20 influence, they decide, do they want to keep that senator in play to have some effect, or do they retire that senator, bank that influence, and add that to their score towards the end of the game? And we saw that this round, in fact, with Quinticus Flaminius, a very good war veteran there who had quite a lot of influence, 29, was able to half and bank half of that, so 14 influence overall, rounded down. And we'll add that to his total influence for the end of the game. So I like the thoughts and the strategy around that. It makes it a little bit more predictable. So if they're not dying from wars, then it's natural death. But yeah, and it changes the dynamics then. And also when you get to that 7 years of age, to that elder senator level, the ruling about them not being able to leave Rome as an elder senator also creates an interesting dynamic as well. So certainly doesn't prohibit them from being elected to office, but it then changes whether they can leave Rome or not. So governors, they can't be appointed a governor. And you could appoint, a Roman Field Consul, and if your Field Consul's too old but your Rome Consul isn't, and that's a case where you could have the Rome Consul being sent to war before the Field Consul. Interesting dynamic there. So yeah, I do like the aging senators rule, and certainly in the last 3 games I think that I've played, I've had the aging senators rule there, and which is accompanied by the voluntary retirement rule. So I very much appreciate having those rule around. Poached Trout here says he agrees overall, but there are some situations where the rules as written are unclear and could use clarification. Yeah, I think so. Particularly about when they age. Some clarity, I think, where the talents are, maybe upon death. In terms of natural death, between the main Valley Games rules and the Avalon Hill rules, there isn't a great deal of difference from what I've gathered. Certainly the faction leader benefit is still there as well. But yeah, with the complex rule set as they are, having the additional clarity certainly helps. Maybe some rewording here and there can certainly be of benefit. But yeah, certainly a good conversation to continue having. And I think it's working. I think these guys are appreciating it, provided you can age your senators correctly. Sometimes people get the numbers wrong. We've only had the one error. I think I've done some checks between each sessions, and everybody's been aging their senators. There hasn't been any additional issues bar that first round, I think. So the aging senators rule seems to be working, and I think I like it. And it certainly reduces the probability of a consul for life election occurring earlier or perhaps unplanned in an extended campaign. I guess adds that timeline realism, noting that senators aren't going to live forever through all 3 eras, so they will die off and you'll see their successors come through. Or even, the dynamics where they could lose their senator. I mean, you could still potentially see that in the normal mortality phase of the random death, but you could see multiple deaths. So, right, you do see an increased death rate, but, the opportunity is still there for them to retain that senator under the normal circumstances. Keeps things fresh, keeps things thinking. Yeah, strategy for our senators to think about. So, yes, session 6, that's done and dusted. With that session done, they now equal the length of session of last year's board game broadcast. Granted, the 6th session from last year was a bit of a gimme, considering they technically lost at the end. Well, they didn't technically. They did lose at the end of the 5th session, but we just didn't realise it. They had the 4 or more active wars. Last year, what we didn't realise is that unprosecuted wars also counts towards that 4-war limit at the end of the combat phase. And they had reached that limit at the end of the combat phase last year. at the end of the 5th session. So they played the 6th anyway to see if we could, change things up or if there was going to be any difference in outcome, but it was far too difficult. They were certainly overcome with wars last year. This year, however, a little bit different at the end of the 6th session. They have 3 active wars on the books now. So they've got the Second Punic War, very strong war, 15 with the base war strength, plus 7 of Hannibal. Lots of disaster numbers there, 9, 10, 11, 15, and 16. They're now going to see concessions being destroyed now. The Second Macedonian War is still there. It's quite strong with the 16 strength, thanks to Philip V. Syrian War is still sticking around with Anatochus III. Now, in terms of those who know their decks in the early Republic, I don't know if there's any more wars to come. Maybe one more. But they had so many events this time. How many events did they draw? 4 events? Out of 6 players, they drew 4 events this round. That is amazing. And when you're doing that, that can really slow down a Republican era. So there wasn't many cards left in the early Republic, but they're going to see another turn with some more early Republic decks because they drew 4 events in one turn. That's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. A question from Unknown Star is, do they have rebelling governors? Or I guess you're talking about the rule, rebelling governors? Yes, that is a rule. We're using all advanced rules in our game. So we could potentially see a rebelling governor should they so choose. Unlikely in this early stage. No governor has any strength to even warrant that at this point in time. So I'm looking at there's only 2 governors right now. They need to appoint another one for Gallia Cisalpina. That governor died of old age. And even in their form, it'd be very hard for it. Yeah, we definitely won't see any governors rebelling in the early Republic, maybe not even in the middle Republic. We will see how that goes. But yes, we are using the Rebel Governor's Advance rule in our game for sure. Yes, post-round did confirm we did have 4 events. We did have 2 positive results, which is better than the normal odds. Certainly, it was much better than having 4 negative events. But yeah, that Evil Omens hit again was just terrible. And having to account for that minus roll all the time is frustrating, isn't it? Very frustrating. Very frustrating. And right, as Unknown Star says in the chat, need to improve the money situation. That is pretty dire. That 75 talents from the Extreme Allied Enthusiasm will help. If they win a war, that's another 45 that they could earn from the Second Macedonian. They could earn 25 from the Second Punic, and there's 45 on offer from the Syrian. It'll be interesting to see what they choose going forwards and what war they wish to prosecute. They haven't got a lot of armies to raise. I wonder what they can do here. It'll be tough. They've only got, let's see what their strength is legion-wise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 legions. That counts for the veterans. They've got 2 veterans still. A strength of 13 plus a commander, let's say they have 4, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 strength minus another force of, say, 16 for the Second Macedonian. Gee, the odds are significantly less. And they'd be silly, I think, to not try and attack a war, maybe. I don't know. How many forces could they raise with 68 talents? Not a great deal. But let's see what they decide. We'll let them think about that. I won't speculate here now. Certainly thoughts for the consoles in the coming year to consider. Yeah. Poach Trout says, surprised not to see much money in the state treasury. Yeah, lots of debt. So I guess they had they had one unprosecuted war. They had the land bill to pay. They had a monster force of debt of the legions and fleets that they had. But then, of course, they lost them all in the subsequent war, didn't they? Yeah, interesting. All right, well, that concludes our session there. That'll probably conclude the debrief. I think that's enough. We could speculate until the legions march home. But let's wait. Join us, please. Next Monday, same time, same place. We'll watch for daylight savings. I'll check, but watch our social media channels to see if there's any changes. I don't think we're due for daylight savings till October, if I'm not mistaken. But next Monday, we'll lead off with the population phase and see the State of the Republic address before we move into the Senate phase. That's been awesome. This has been the session 6 or episode 6 of the Republic of Rome by Valor Games Board Game Broadcast. I'm Decimus Aurelius. Thank you very much for joining us again for this session. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you to all of our donations, subs, and follows in the chat, particularly Sempronius Agricola with the 10 gifted subs. If you haven't thanked him in chat already, please do so. A big thank you to everybody if you've been watching and helping us support the channel. Always appreciated. Until next time, thank you very much. Walete.